welcome everyone to the Film Vault. That's Anderson. I'm Brian Bishop, your host for today. Top 5 old new movies. Yes, our annual list of the best movies we caught up on last year from years past. Normally, in the past, we've done this on Patreon only, but we thought, hey, we actually both came to this conclusion independently. Hey, good topic, fun topic, a service. Let's bring it to the regular show.
You were inspired by Your Life is for People.
That's right.
Little one love.
My list is for the people. And here we are.
Mm-hmm. I've thought about that a lot. it's got staying power.
Also, Anderson, appropriate to our topic, I'm going to have a couple of movies that I caught up on and might be on next year's list of best old new movies.
Best old new.
Yeah, a couple of movies I caught up on from years past in the last couple of months.
Oh, but you haven't brought them. They weren't good enough.
Yeah, because they're not for last year. They're going to be for 2024.
Okay. But still, why didn't you let us know right after you watched?
Because I'm watching Oscar movies. This is absolutely perfect time to talk about old new.
Gotcha. Copy that. Copy all of that. Okay.
I also have some Oscar movies.
I don't get it.
I'm confused, to be honest. I have no idea what's happening. Hey, what's up, guys? Good to see y'all. First time in person in a long time.
I know.
Yeah, right?
3 weeks.
Yeah.
A month.
Avery and I are freezing. It's very, very cold here in the studio.
You
Nice change of
often
pace.
complain about how hot it is.
Gonna put on my jacket right now.
It's actually kind of settled in nicely with how hot this pod is.
Nah, nice. And if I'll turn the heat up, I can do it with my phone.
No. I'm feeling
I
pretty
can
good
do
right
it with
now.
my phone.
Feeling pretty
I'm just
good.
trying to show off. I can adjust the heat remotely.
We also have some very, very worthwhile flickfessing to do.
Indeed.
This is one of those weeks where I saw a number of movies, but I'm only talking about a few because there's only a few worthy of talking about. But the ones that I'm going to be talking about, for the most part, are worthy of talking about. Also, we just had a 45-minute pre-show meeting, which
I'm all
we
talked out.
never do. But big thing is afoot for the old
On the
Film
horizon,
Vault.
yes.
Yeah,
It's
finally. It's 20 years in. We're finally getting smart about the program.
Finally, gonna do something to grow the show.
I have never had less job security.
That's true. Everything to do with the first 45 minutes, the 45-minute meeting we just had is all about edging Avery out.
Yeah.
The subtext was really, here's what Avery should be doing. Should have been doing for a long time.
Could have been doing if he was a real go-getter.
And is incapable of doing going forward.
In fact, Avery even did one worse, which was at the end of the meeting with the unnamed person, Drake, who we were talking with about growing the program. Avery not only said, hey, I'll take the reins there, guys. It sounds like some good ideas. No, Avery says, hey, Drake, who wants to do a bunch of cool stuff for the Film Vault, I'll be contacting you about doing that for me.
Yeah, I'll follow over there.
Oh, yeah. You got to leverage your
Took a lot
network.
of balls. Took balls. I like it.
Leverage your
that.
network.
Avery said, let's keep the conversation going.
Let's keep that on. I love the
I'm just trying to get famous enough so I can block your numbers.
Avery's transitioning more and more into an
great
on-air presence, which upsets a number of you, but I think the majority of you are thrilled about that.
Well, that's like 50% of the hosts
I'd
of the
say.
show.
What's that?
What?
Oh, 50%. I'm all for it. I'm all for the Avery coming on board more.
I hate it.
Well, then shut the fuck up. How about that? It's easy fix for you. Easy fix for you. Hey, real quick little plug. Speaking of self-serving, I have a picture lock. I might still tweak a couple things because I'm crazy, but pretty much a picture lock with the Loaded for Bear short, which is it turned out pretty well. Pretty
Nice.
good. I got some real great performances out of everyone involved, and it looks good, and I'm happy with it.
It infuriates me right now that you've locked your picture in the time, well within the time I've been shooting these documentaries.
But it's just the short.
I know.
Side. I got three. It's
still
my
feel
efforts are three-pronged. I got the short film, which kind of came up out of the blue because of the SAG-AFTRA strike. We took advantage of that. And then also the ongoing documentary, which is feature-length. And then ultimately we would like to get a narrative feature out of this, which has been, which started this whole crazy journey for Loaded for Bear. But if you would like to contribute and be part of the Loaded for Bear credits on the film as well as on IMDb, the clock is ticking. I'd say 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. I'm going to say 3 weeks at the most. If I don't have it done by then somebody dropped the ball, probably me.
Wait, sorry. What are people supposed to do in the next 3 weeks?
I'm going to have the movie will be cooked. It will be done. It will be finished. As in, I can't add any credits to it. There will be no more time to open it back
up. If you want to contribute, now's the time.
Yeah, it will come out of the kiln and it will be hardened, and the resin will be finished. All right, there's no more adding to it. So, if you would like to be a part of this, not only this but also the documentary, obviously in credit fashion, please go over to loadedforbeardoc.com. And yeah, we are in need. The coffers are empty because of this GD short. Like $50,000 went into the short film, which was not scheduled when we started raising money for the documentary. So
That's a bad decision.
if we didn't do the short, we would be on Easy Street and really able to work hard and be able to delegate and hire people like Avery, who I'm trying to hire. I don't have the money to pay Avery right now. So, but if you've already given, I'm not talking to you, not talking to you guys at all. Some of you have given big, and I really appreciate that. Your names will be in the short.
They're already tattooed on Anderson.
Yeah, prominently displayed.
Tattooed your
Load for Bear, brought to you by.
Somebody sent me. Who was it? Somebody sent me tattoos like a couple got, and it's pretty fucking great.
Really?
Ghost story related.
Oh, do you match them up in a mix like a mosaic?
Yeah. So his was the ghost in the window.
Huh?
And then hers was the ghost in the window, and it said something to the effect, whatever the ghost says in the movie, like I can't remember or I'm not sure. Remember, like who are you here for?
Yeah.
Devastating.
Oh, so devastating! I'm getting chills just talking about it. Fucking masterpiece, that ghost story.
We gotta invite them to our next live show.
Jillian's gonna wake up with one of those tattoos.
Just somewhere she can never see it. Only you know about it.
Something hurts.
You really have to profile the shit out of someone to tattoo them without them waking up.
The center of my back really hurts.
Yeah, and there's a way to do this. I could accidentally burn her, and then she has to go in to get. Oh, this is getting dark quick. And then she has to go to get treatments, and then she'll already be used to the pain, and then I'll.
That's needless to elaborate. Just get some profile in Mexico.
I think it's illegal to brand your wife. I'm not positive on
in
that.
this country, but
it's true.
We travel abroad a lot.
That's good.
Get her to sign a power of attorney, and then you can do anything you want.
That's back to the Profivol. The only way she would ever sign that is if she was not of right mind. So. Okay, what are we doing? Why are we talking about my wife in this way?
Good start.
Great start. You ask me. Hey, back to the doing something for a good cause. Loadedforbeardoc.com.
Yeah, if you're underwater on your taxes, this is a perfect season.
The people that did, it won't be until next year's taxes. So that's another reason why it's really slow right now with the contributions.
We'll get out ahead of it.
But I'm trying to get people
this year.
Trying to give people an incentive. If you would like to see your name on the big screen associated with this very legitimate short that will be screening at festivals, now is the time. I don't know why you're laughing. I mean, people can't see you, so they're assuming you're laughing at what I'm saying. And it makes
nothing instills confidence more than saying it's very legitimate.
Oh, that's true. It's legitimate. I mean, as far as like everything I've made,
it's very legal and very cool.
It is like the most legit because there's SAG after. So I was following all sorts of rules I would have normally just ignored. Like when my assistant director, my second AD said, if you don't get this shot in 2 minutes, it's going to cost this production a whole lot of money. I don't want to tell you how much extra, but 2 minutes. And I adhered to it. Whereas
post.
I never heard anything like that before because I never done SAG after, but I would have had to pay meal penalties for like 48 people or something.
Not good.
Not good. That's pressure, you guys. That's a lot of pressure.
That's calling your shot.
That's the shot clock winding down.
Speaking of pressure and speaking of people and perspective and whatnot, we both watched the movie, EO.
Oh, yeah.
Capitano. And I'm already upset with people of means who travel and they bitch about coach and they bitch about travel in general and how like the airports are bad and the seats are small and uncomfortable. Yeah. And I was thinking about
attitude.
I was thinking about you guys quite a bit while watching EO. Oh, just anyone who's ever bitched. Back to my wife. She complains too. She loves traveling, but hates the plane. I don't care. I put me on a seat in between two strangers. I'm going somewhere awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to suffer a little bit to get there, but I'm not going to bitch. I'll bitch in Chagall if you land the plane and then we get off and then they make us walk the length of the airport and then back just to get out because they have cones up. That happened to me in France. I was furious. But as far as just, uncomfortable travel.
Just, garden variety annoyances.
Watch EO. Watch
EO
Capitano. Yeah. We'll be talking about that one
change
here.
your tune.
My God. It's
a harrowing journey.
It's harrowing. Yeah. It pairs nice with Rebel, which I talked about last week. And these are two movies that I feel like everyone should see. Yeah. You've seen neither, have you, Avery?
Neither.
Get the fuck out of here.
I was seeing Taste of Things.
All right. Well, Taste of Things is like playing like at one theater once a day. Get it out of here.
Sounds like an excuse.
I want to see it in the comfort of my home where I cook a nice meal and eat it while watching. That's my move. That's what I want to do with the Taste of Things. That's a good point.
That's the best way to watch a movie while cooking.
No, I cook beforehand and I bring it to the coffee table. Soup in a movie, though. That's what I was planning on doing.
Not bad.
But it's not playing at good times. All right. Let's, what do we do? What do we do here?
What are the people saying?
Without Mitch. Mitch will be replaced. Oh, will he be replaced? He could be replaced by essentially 3 people within the next couple weeks.
That's how big of a job he was doing.
That's right.
It's a full rebuild for the Film Vault franchise.
That's right. There is a rebuild going on.
With Mitch retiring.
We are rebuilding. But you know how... No, I don't want to say. Okay. That would have been like mean to Mitch, but you know how like a lot of teams rebuild and got to go out and get like younger, but they're not there yet. We're rebuilding with like a veteran.
Oh, yeah.
This team is built to win now.
Yes.
We're bringing in a 1-year contract. Sign him up.
All right, they put the camera on Avery, which means it's go time for Avery to do what's he going to do? I don't know.
I'm going to do Fanflickssion.
Hell
and
yeah.
Speaking of Mitch Burns, he has decided to step back in until he is replaced.
Oh, that's nice. That means even though the contract's up.
Oh, yeah.
Mitch.
The manager can't get him off the mound.
He's the Jay Leto of the show.
Won't give up the
how's
ball.
that?
Leno wouldn't go away.
Oh, I thought you said Jared Leto. I'm like,
No, Jay Leno.
Jay Leno? Oh, yeah, Leno would not go away. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
Well, we're not saying that to me. I'm not saying that. You can say it
if you're calling him
I'm
Leno.
saying get the fuck in here.
Yeah, I would love it if Mitch never went anywhere, but he's going to do what he's going to do.
What does Mitch have to say?
He says, starts off with listener comment by Krongos032284.
That's an aggressive name right off the bat. So I'm bracing myself for what
the attention is waning.
I'm just impressed that there's 32,083 other Krongos that he couldn't go.
Good point.
Imagine the try on air to get to that number.
Yeah,
1, nope. 2, nope.
Spent a whole week just like, God damn it. All right. Anderson and Bryan's relationship.
Oh,
It is hilarious to me that some of you think that Anderson does not like Bryan.
well, I think that.
Most male platonic close relationships involve a lot of talking shit and poking fun. It shows you care for a number of reasons.
Fun is the word. Fun is the right word.
First, you know them well enough to know their flaws and or pet peeves. And second, it is endearing to know that you can be honest and funny with each other and it won't be taken seriously. I was surprised to hear about the feedback that they're getting about how Anderson acts towards Bryan. Obviously, these two love each other as close friends. If you can't see that, then you are really literal.
Who is this idiot?
I like their dynamic because it feels real and reminds me of how my close friends and I act. Please continue with your banter as is. Comments from the post.
I don't know about as is.
Comments from the post.
Exactly. How many male friends have the complainers helped zip up? Probably less than Anderson.
Oh, yeah, he's talking about when I zipped your package. That story got a lot of legs, and I barely remember it. I remember it did happen, but I don't remember it being a big deal at the time. I don't even know how it became part of lore.
I brought it up probably.
Was it in the book?
No, I don't believe it was. Well, you know what? I fucking don't remember.
When Bryan and I,
that
when
book
he was,
has been so successful, I can't even.
when
go
Bryan
back.
was really sick with the old head trauma over there, I took him over to a movie. We're still arguing about what movie that was. I know it was District 9, and you think it was something else. Maybe I took you to a couple.
No, D9. It might have been D9.
But Bryan was in such a bad way, and it was the first time you had been in public in a long, long time.
I was on a walker, man.
We were in the, but you hadn't been in like a public bathroom.
I know. I'm saying
A
it
long,
was
long time.
difficult to get around because I was on the walker.
So you had to go pee-pee over there, and we were in the bathroom, and we weren't prepared. Neither one of us was really prepared for how weak you were that you weren't able to zip yourself. Now I didn't have to take you out or anything, but I was able to zip
I actually
you up.
could zip. I couldn't button.
Oh, so it was just a button. So I'm getting way too much
Couldn't
credit
shake.
over here.
And the button's the key part to keep us all together. King the punnet. I'm saying you did the most important part.
The button is you got it's not just one motion either. You got to get both.
Yeah,
hands
you
down.
really
It's a
got
two-hander.
to manipulate those fine motor skills.
Yeah.
Surprised Bryan's not running with it's a two-hander.
Oh, I did the heavy lifting, Avery.
We never talk about what happened. The second part of that story when the homophobes walked in and beat the fuck out of both of
Yeah.
them. We don't talk about that part.
I enjoyed that part. They have a
I
bit
had the benefit of being on chemo. I barely
What the
remember.
fuck's going on in here?
of, not in my arc light.
After they kicked our asses, they're like, all right, let's go enjoy District 9.
Oh, they have a bit of a Siskel and Ebert dynamic. They're polar opposites in nearly every way, but there's a genuine affection.
Well, I'm bald and I have brain tumors thanks to Siskel.
Okay.
You have nowhere else to go.
I guess not. So I guess I'm Jawless Wonder.
I think Anderson hated Bryan when they first met, though, and some of his Bryan-ness still annoys him. That just makes it funny.
You know what my first sin was upon meeting Anderson? It was complimenting him.
All right, we've talked about this ad nauseum. Come on.
And then lastly, the only time I can recall where it wasn't incredibly obvious he was just poking fun was the whole, I've been thinking about doing a movie podcast thing on the girl.
That is true.
Still thinking about
That was the most angry I'd ever been this year.
Still thinking about it.
Yeah.
But now you got La Maga,
But like a real movie podcast.
where there's listeners and
That's right.
insight. On to the Fanfliction.
Where there's
Commentary.
listeners out there.
Brian McCulley on Facebook saw Dune Part 2 last night in IMAX. How the
my.
fuck did you get to see
Macaulay,
that,
that's Better Brian over there. Oh, speaking of which, Better Brian, I'm glad you brought this program. You sent us a very nice care package.
Oh, the whiskey's outside.
Filled with lots of whiskey. Evidently, there's beer
It's
in there.
half gone.
We have not had a chance to go through that yet because our schedule has been so daytime driven or remote driven.
Yes.
But I
I
think
mean,
we're getting
the day
back.
part hasn't been a
It
problem.
is 10 in
for
the
me.
morning right now.
We're getting back to the in person at night soon. I think maybe next week. Maybe we'll crack into it for our listener watch along of the Oscars, which we do.
That's a bad idea.
That's if you're over on Patreon, $10 and up, and you're part of the watch along. Our watch along for March will be watching the Oscars. Our watch along for this month will be watching.
Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Brian's very excited because it's music related, and Brian likes music way more than movies. So we'll be watching Pink Floyd's The Wall. It's just Pink Floyd : The
Is
Wall.
it Pink Floyd? The
It's
Wall.
just Pink Floyd: The Wall. We'll be watching that and the pudding and the meat and
Perfect
all of that.
movie for a watch along. It's short. It's an hour and a half. It's crazy and insane. And there's a lot of room for us to talk. We're not going to miss a lot of plot. In fact, I would say there is no plot.
We get to see nipples be shaved off, though, right?
We got to see a lot of a lot
When
of stuff
are you
we
guys
should
doing
do.
this?
Piqued his interest. You haven't seen Bob Geldof shave off his nipples?
No.
He does in Pink Floyd: The Wall, right? It's in that movie, right?
Yes, his nipples bleed from razor.
For unknown reasons, he shaves his chest in a
Sounds,
very
Shaves his
manly way.
eyebrows.
Shaves everything.
Sounds low on the fun scale.
It's very low.
And I would disagree.
Okay.
Brian
That-
McCulley.
That part's low. Oh, but there's already it will have happened by the time people hear this, right?
Not for Patreon.
That's a good point. All right, see you tomorrow.
Happening tonight if you're listening to Patreon day that this gets released.
Nipple
Tonight.
shaving.
Yes.
Saw Dune Part 2 last night in IMAX. I was a big fan of the first part and thought the new movie improved on the first in every way.
Nice.
Really looking forward to seeing it again. This guy Jones.
Again.
This guy C. Jones on Instagram. Drive away dolls. B+. Rarely do I say it, but at a scant 120, this could have been used. This could have used a couple more scenes. I'd have liked some fake campaign commercials for Matt Damon's politician character. That said, it's funny and light, and the two leads are excellent. Where did Quayle get her acting chops? I don't think it was her mom.
How dare you? And
Who's
Andy
her mom?
McDowell's great.
Oh,
I like her.
oh,
Oh, I think
great.
she's great.
Isn't
like-
that her mom? That's her mom.
I think
right?
it is.
Yeah.
I think it is. I'll search that line. Tony Shark 9 on Reddit. Drive away dolls. Would have liked it if it was better, but had some interesting characters and wasn't a scant hour and a half. Would have been better if they didn't show Damon in the trailers and left his essentially cameo a surprise. Geraldine Viswanath, we'll say that's right, is adorable and always good to see. Bill Camp. Do we want to guess the Drive Away Dolls FVT score?
We're gonna say it's high.
74.
Yeah, I'll go a little higher. I'll say 80.
71.
Oh, I'm in a little lower.
David J on Facebook. Perfect Days. This might be the best movie I've seen in years.
Wow.
A small slice of life, Zen-like experience that is best described as a spiritual successor to Jim Jarmusch's Patterson.
I'm out.
It speaks to the
It's
heart.
got a little bit of Patterson, but it's better. I saw.
You saw Patterson?
I know. We both saw it, and I saw Perfect Days. I encourage you to see it for the Oscars. This is a very good movie.
It's just I know what it is.
I don't know
And
if
it's
you do.
not made for me.
Really? What do you think it is?
It's going to be like a quiet, lost in translation, modern day. No, it's not going to be for me. I don't think.
It's more than that. I know what you're saying, and it's. You saw. You talked
Yeah.
about last week. No, it's good.
Avery texted me on his way out of the theater saying, "Not an Andy movie," and I don't want to like seek out a movie just because the Oscars like it doesn't mean I'm going to have to watch
It
it.
didn't seem like an Andy film to me.
Agreed, but I think it's a little better than the two that you mentioned, and there's enough going on with characters who get introduced that it's is worthwhile. I
I
think.
think I only mentioned one, but okay.
Well, you mentioned Patterson and
Oh,
Lost
yeah,
Translation.
I didn't mention it, but yeah,
But
it has been mentioned. Yeah.
But it's one of those, it's great, but I don't know who needs to see it. That's how I felt. I
Same.
wasn't sure who
Same.
it recommends.
You saw it evidently, and you're into it.
I liked it.
Bruce Perking on Instagram. EO Capitano or is it Low Capitano?
I believe it's
EO.
EO. Bruce, what's
EO
up? I
Capitano.
talked to Bruce just yesterday. Oh, that reminds me. I got to send something to Bruce.
Nominated for Best International Feature and Stop Motion Two of the best releases so far this year.
Get
Oh,
outta
wait,
here-
sorry.
get
Stop
outta here with
motion
your
in his
stop
second
motion.
film.
Yes.
That's the other movie that he is recommending.
Alex Simpson on Instagram. The taste of things. Appreciate Avery's recommendation of this movie.
A lot of sniffing going on over there. I feel like too much.
The camera floats around this beautiful French kitchen while the prettiest people cook incredible food. Great stuff.
I'm in.
And lastly, Chris Wolfing. Great name. TV Vault. Finished True Detective Night Country. Started off promising, but ends abruptly in a confusing mess. Lots of questions that went unresolved. It's a shame because there were some good performances and ideas, but the final product got bungled by a messy last episode.
Oh.
Couldn't agree more, Chris.
Oh, you saw it?
I did.
Must be nice to be unemployed.
It has its perks.
So I was going to say, it's not nice.
It's also a
but there are
terrifying
nice things
existential
about
crisis. Did either of you see Drive Away Dolls?
I did. Yes.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I took the plunge.
I was wondering if I needed to mention that it had been seen.
Drive. Oh,
I have
you've
thought.
seen it.
I have thought.
All right, we're going to talk about it then. We're going straight to, do we get straight to Drive Away Dolls because
You guys should do that first.
I feel like it's the big sexy of the
it's
week.
the big, it's the
No.
only. Well, I mean, yeah, it's in theaters.
It came
now.
out.
Well, okay, sure. Yes, of the films that came out, yes.
I won't say it's the best one that'll be talked about on this episode.
No. So, listener said, "Here, how do I get us both so that we're on the goddamn
Just
camera?
angle your freaking camera.
I can just scoot over and it'll probably be easy.
Just angle the camera. Okay. Oh, wow. You know what? I never thought of that, Brian.
Well, then you should
He's
do
the
it.
Do you
tech
feel like
guy.
maybe I'm doing it? Okay, I'm gonna move Brian over here.
Didn't we just talk
I'm gonna
about how
do
you're mean
this.
to me?
We I don't like it when the camera takes away from the show, which is doing. But all right, there we go. Look at that. Okay, so let's
We did it.
Let's talk Drive Away, Baby Dolls. My brain is so simple that just having a little dash in between Drive Away throws me for a loop, and I can never remember the name of the movie.
I keep thinking it's Driveway Dolls.
I think that's why they put the little dash in because they didn't want anyone calling them Drive Away
Like
Dolls.
dolls that are strewn above the driveway.
Yeah.
So Driveway, I just did it. Drive Away Dolls is Ethan Cohen's first solo effort since parting ways as a filmmaker with his brother Joel. Joel made Macbeth or Othello. It's still up for debate, I guess, because I never looked it up.
Yeah.
I believe it was
It
Macbeth.
is Macbeth, yes.
And you really do see the stark contrast that these two bring to filmmaking and why they work so well together, I think, for years and years and years. When you see these two movies, it'd be an interesting exercise to watch them back to back, which I will never do because I don't like either one of them nearly enough to do so. So Drive Away Dolls is starring, it's a two-hander, but we also got Beanie Feldstein in there quite a bit, who you know from Booksmart and Lady Bird. But mainly it's Margaret Qualley, right?
I never know. Qualley?
Geraldine. You already said her name, so I feel like we've already done it.
Yeah, we covered it.
She's great. She was in she was in Blockers.
Blockers,
which
yeah, you love
never
that
saw.
Blockers. I do not see that
It's
Blockers.
actually pretty funny.
And it's a very explicit lesbian movie, which
Yeah.
obviously no problem here with that. But I kept thinking, like, if this was just like, straight people making out this much and fucking this much, like, I'm out. I don't need to see this. It was kind of a romantic comedy in some ways, which no need. And ultimately, like the listener said, if it was better, I would have liked it more.
Yeah.
This is like, imagine a 2-star Big Lebowski.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Just kind of felt like that.
I'm going to be honest. If I had not gone with friends, I might have walked out.
So you mean Big Lebowski?
I was not enjoying the first 30 minutes of this thing.
I was not enjoying. I wanted more from the end. I did like some of the wrap up, but it just got too silly. There's like dildos
The
involved.
psychedelic part felt really cheaply done and really try hard at the same time.
And it's really hard to watch this movie. And I was trying to imagine, okay, how am I taking this if it's just an unknown director and it's not Ethan Cohen?
Yeah.
And I think I would just be like, wow, you're really doing a cheap imitation of the Coen brothers,
Yeah.
which is kind of what I was feeling knowing what I did. Coleman Domingo was in it as well, I should say. He was good in his limited role as well as Matt Damon.
I could have used more Pedro.
Rustin himself?
There were some great character actors. Ultimately, I think the biggest problem with this movie, beyond the silliness that we already kind of touched on, is Margaret Qualley's character. Now, most of us know her mainly as Kitty in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which she was great in. Here she's doing a character, and I think it might work as a background
I
character.
don't think it did not work for me.
It could work if she showed up, in a few scenes here and there, but she is the movie, and what she was doing was just, I think it was supposed to be cute and funny, but it just kind of annoyed me.
Yeah.
So while I did laugh probably at least 6-7 times out loud, there are those little stings of
That are very funny.
very funny and great, and you want to see more from those characters. It will go back to the story, which was not very interesting. And I didn't really. It was pretty by the numbers as far as the story goes.
A lot of it was Beanie Feldstein for me. She was very funny as the girlfriend, ex-girlfriend.
And we don't see enough of her, right?
At all.
The best elements we don't see much of. And Geraldine, she seemed like she was good, but she plays a straight-laced character with an arc that you can feel coming from a mile away. And you didn't really get to see much from her because her character is so bottled up.
And a lot of the best jokes, too, were in the trailer again.
I didn't see one single trailer for this.
That ruined it for me a little bit, too. I also, what did you think of the two henchmen that are searching for them?
The bald guy reminded me so much of somebody who was distracting, but they were okay. I could tell
I
what they were
just wasn't buying it.
It was almost like a throwback. And if I had not seen that kind of dynamic ever before, they're archetypes, right? And like,
yeah.
I feel like they were kind of cheap imitations of what's been done better by the Coen brothers.
Yeah, and I think part of what I'm reacting to, because what I thought was interesting, I think it's something like 70 on Rotten Tomatoes, and the audience score is like 34. So people were not enjoying this. I think for me, what I'm reacting to is going into this, I was filling in some of my Coen brothers gaps, and I watched Hudsucker and Miller's Crossing. And I just went into this going, this doesn't fucking hold a candle to that.
It is, in fact,
This is not
66%
even-
in Rotten Tomatoes.
This is not even close to that. In terms of the fun scale, it felt like it really thought it was being clever and funny.
That's the feeling I got, too.
I felt like how I think you felt watching Juno, where I went, guys, it's not that funny.
Were people like losing their shit in your audience?
Yeah, there was a man I wanted to strangle, where he just Pedro Pascal. It was not even played for laughs. Pedro Pascal just checks his watch to see if someone's coming, and then looks at the door, and the guy just lost his mind.
Prepped and ready for
nothing.
Performative laughter. Yeah,
Not played for laughs.
Movies are tricky
Lost his shit.
because audiences can ruin them, especially if there's preconceived notions of what you're going to be getting delivered to your eyeballs when you go into that theater. And I think people see Ethan Coen and they're like, "Here we go." But I was so distracted, Avery and Brian, throughout, just going, I wish Joel was on set telling him to scale it back and maybe putting some of Joel's stuff. Same way I was with Macbeth, going like, this needs, even though there's no place for it. But imagine an actual Coen Brothers Macbeth where they do. Because
I would take that every day over what we got.
They're so good at going back and forth between noir and comedy, and if they could have, even in the noir film, some of them are very straight laced, but there's going to at least be like you get the Anton Chigurh, that's kind of played for laughs to an extent in there, and dark comedy, right?
Yeah, I think once you on repeated viewings, a la Lebowski, like once you get used to Chigurh, then he's hilarious.
And if you don't.
The first time we see him, it's terrifying.
If you don't realize just how cute this movie is, they remind you consistently with the screen wipes, which were distracting and too much.
I wish there was more grit to this.
Well, I mean, there was, Brian, that adds zero. There was some over-the-top violence from the get-go.
Yeah.
And then I guess the grit, they think the grit is with the
or maybe
overt
tension.
sexual,
I just never really felt
tension.
That there was tension, that the characters were in any real danger. I didn't really buy the guys chasing them as being able to take care of business. I thought the one guy's, his arc came out of fucking nowhere.
Which one guy?
The
guy with the broken nose?
Yeah.
No, I saw that coming from a mile away. What, really? He was bubbling over. He was
I don't know what to believe.
Powder keg.
I didn't think it was earned. I didn't really care when it happened. I was kind of glad when it happened.
Yeah, so was I.
I'm done with these characters anyway.
I'm with you.
I just, it just felt, hour 25 felt too long for me.
A little bit.
And
there could have been something. So here's the story, Brian, and then we'll move on. These two women who are both lesbians, but they're not a couple. They're just very good friends. They just need to get away. They're going to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and they're going to use a drive-away service, which is like a service where a car needs to be delivered to a location, and they happen to get lucky because they go into this like little office, and they're like, "Hey, we have a car that needs to go to Fort Lauderdale." The guy behind the counter, played very effectively by Bill Camp. And next thing you know, they're in the car. But why don't you know, it's not. They're the wrong people. There's actually an outfit, gangsters who are supposed to pick up that car because of what the contents held. We already saw Pedro Pascal deal with some of these ruffians, so we know that these guys mean business. And now there's some henchmen on their tail, unbeknownst to the two girls, and they're just going to Fort Lauderdale looking for a good time, having a good time. They have no idea that they're being tracked by would-be dangerous people who are buffoons and there for our enjoyment as audience members. That's pretty much the story.
All right.
And then we find out what's in the car, obviously. They really, really play it up so that it's the Pulp Fiction, like we don't know what's in the case once they do. And once the case,
It glows yellow.
but there's just the payoff is so over the top, silly, stupid. That who was that in the psychedelic? Was that Miley Cyrus?
Yes, it was.
Get out of here.
And just the graphics on that and where it was going, and
It felt very 90s, didn't it?
yeah, and just
Not in a good way.
But isn't the film set in the 90s?
Yeah, 99.
Yeah, but it was-
but still, like they could have.
it just felt like it thought it was so funny
It did.
and cool.
Yeah, and that was palpable. It felt like it. I was getting Wes Anderson vibes, and it doesn't feel like a Wes Anderson movie, but the same kind of like icky feeling inside.
Yeah.
Like, oh god.
Every time they went to the psychedelic thing, I got douche chills. Where I went,
And this
please don't.
This is not fair because they made so many great movies, the Coen Brothers, and it's maybe it is fair, but I mean it's maybe it's low hanging fruit, but it's as though a director who you really like got in a bad car accident and had some head trauma.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
We talked about directors who lost it.
Maybe that's fair.
Directors who lost their fast.
But he lost his brother, who was the one who kept him in check.
Yeah.
And I last week was equating to my favorite band, Ween, and together they're magical. And when they go solo, it's just too much of one and too much of the other, salty and sweet.
And this was very sweet. Very sweet.
Are they? This might just be a long con, right? And they're gearing up to get together for some huge movie in a few
bigger
years.
I hope.
Yeah. 'Cause
I
I
haven't loved what I've seen so far.
But maybe they did. Maybe this is an exercise
Yeah.
they've been needing to do. They deserve it. They've earned
Sure,
it, right? They can do whatever the fuck they want. It's just I don't want to be sitting in front of it.
Fair.
I don't know. This definitely diminished my enthusiasm. I don't know if I'm running out to see what they're doing blind, because there was also no reviews on this yet. If I had seen it was 66, I think
I just wanted to bring something new to the show that was not We Do It for the People.
Oh, but it was so good. I liked that quite a bit more. I liked One Love quite a bit more than
I
Drive Away Dolls.
don't know if I'm going to say quite a bit, but I did enjoy it more.
Really? That is damning with faint praise.
All right, Brian, I'm bringing you back into the video
Hey,
picture.
good to be here.
Brian, you should run out and see this.
Sounds like a drive out and see it.
It's a drive away.
Drive by dolls.
Should we do a quick break?
Sure.
I don't know why we would do that, but taking
It's
a
a
quick
joke
break.
that keeps on giving.
That's right. I'm nothing or not consistent. All right. Thanks, you guys, for sticking around through the break. Coming back after this with a couple more Flickfessions next. We're back. I'm enjoying this. Keep it up. There it is.
Very Beastie Boys.
I really thought it was Beast Boys first. All right, Anderson, what do you want to talk about? Should I just wax on a movie while you take a break?
Sure. Is it going to be a movie that I want to hear? Oh, we still got to talk about our relationship a little bit. Or do we do that at a different time?
I'm good.
You don't want to be exposed? You don't want to do a little couples therapy?
You know what? It's uncomfortable, and I don't feel this is anyone's business, but yours and mine.
Is this going to take a similar arc to Drive Away Dolls?
Because, I mean, the way that Brian fights back
boy, here we go.
is so, like, biting. And
What
it's
do
hard.
you
And I don't know if people even, like, recognize. But, like,
What
I
do
mean,
I
you
do?
get your shots in quite a bit.
No.
Yeah, you set me up to abuse you. And then you sit back and revel in, like, what an asshole I'm coming off like, right? This is how you fight. And then when you do strike, it's, like, near and dear to my heart. Near and dear. Every chance you get to
Are
say
you telling
something
me you're
awful
hurting- you're
and
hurting?
earnest about groupers.
You're hurting.
I'm hurting.
Wait,
Linda.
wait, I've never criticized groupers.
Oh, my God. Does he believe that?
Never earnest.
Earnestly.
You'd have to have seen it in order to do that.
No, I love groupers.
Mm-hmm.
I love the effort that went into it.
Mm-hmm.
I
You
love
hear that?
the
effort.
I love the
poster?
I love the intention. And that's a push poster. I love that you love it.
That's one of my favorite quotes is from Ocean's 11 and Andy Garcia. Just the biggest. It just goes, I
Look
like
at-
that you like it.
Yeah, he's looking at the art.
Ugh.
All right, go ahead, Brian. What music doc you got?
I saw groupers.
We should do a groupers watch along.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Why have you not done that? That's
I
a
don't know,
great
I'm
idea.
so tired. You get so tired of your.
I know, but
your
I'll
movie.
do the talking.
You'll do the talking. There's a lot of plus. It's dialogue heavy, and it kills me to think of somebody watching for the first time with us idiots talking over it.
We should have a quiz about the movie, and if you don't pass it, it means you haven't seen it, and thus you cannot join.
Hey, I like that.
Not bad.
I like it. Not terrible at all. Okay, go ahead.
All right. I caught up with a couple of movies from years past in anticipation of this list. I'm going to talk about them. I don't know if you've seen. I feel like I caught up with this movie I should have seen long ago. Very good movie. Maybe you've seen The Short Game.
No.
The little kids golf movie.
No.
Oh no.
Maybe I have with Tiger, the new Tiger and his domineering dad.
It spawned Trophy Kids, which that girl is also in. So maybe you know her from Trophy Kids, which was very good. This is the movie that preceded it, The Short Game, directed by Jeff Greenbaum, 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. This features a very colorful cast of characters, from the parents to the kids. The story basically follows 7 and 8 year old golfers as they compete for the youth international titles, the major, I guess as it was, and it's a perfectly crafted documentary. It's everything you want out of a movie like this. Fun characters. The kids are wild and nuts and interesting and bizarre. And like at one point, one of the main kids is, not at one point, we find it early. One of the main kids is Anna Kournikova's younger brother.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he's like from like a sports family.
Is he hot?
I was thinking the same thing.
I generally can't tell if young boys are hot.
That's a safe tact to take.
I'll ask Tessa. I'll ask my 7-year-old daughter.
I would like that video. Hey, Tessa, that guy hot?
Hey, Tessa, give me here for a second.
1 to 10. And his little bestie is also a golfer, and that's a she, and she is their interactions together are just delightful. It's fun. The movie is very fun. It's high in the fun scale. I enjoyed it very much, even though we don't have listeners in Florida, do we?
We might.
We won't after this.
They can't figure out how to work a fucking phone. There's no way they listen. Even though these kids are
Brian doing hilarious
probably going to turn out to
map
be
humor.
Florida trash someday. They're just nice 7 or 8 year old kids. You can see the path. And you want to like divert them. But for now, they're just nice kids, and you can revel in it. And yes, Amari Avery is one of our.
I'm in.
Because you said Avery.
Avery, I did. You're right. Amari Avery is one of the subjects we follow. She is known as Tigress. Mm-hmm. She's the young would-be next Tiger Woods. She's very good, and she's one of the main characters we follow. Her relationship with her dad is it's fraught. It's fraught. He's a bit of a helicopter parent, as you can imagine.
Just like the other one. So what is this one called? Long
Shot? This one's called The Short Game.
Short Game.
Yeah.
And the other one was called Trophy Kids.
Trophy Kids talked about all manners of sport. There were there's a basketball player. There were tennis kids. This one is about one golf tournament for young kids, and it highlights, 8 or so of them. And they're from all over the world. Some from the U.S., some from Asia,
some from Florida, I've heard.
Unfortunately.
Did you feel less impressed with your own daughter after having watched this?
Oh, very much so. Less about myself, less about every kid I ever met.
If your daughter had to, what's the worst state you would want your daughter raised in? Now that you've already dumped all over Florida, do you have any other states? That
California, right?
You have any other states that you would like to add to the alienation list?
No. I'm sure there's nice parts of Florida. That said, I know actually watching this, even though the kids are nice kids and for the most part they're good kids and whatever, and you like them, they're fun characters. I would never want that life. Sorry, it's not a cough maker. I would never want that life for myself, for my kid.
That seems horrible.
It does, just to waking up early, and that's not just waking up early. Like every day the alarm goes off at 6 a.m. and it's out to the range to hit 500 golf balls, and it's like, fuck, who wants that?
It's like that with all of those types of Spellbound with the spelling bee kids totally. Too. But then it makes you as a parent pause and be like, am I doing it wrong? But then... And
how much does the kid like? The line is always, oh, they love it. They love doing it. It's like, do they? Do they know anything else? Do they have a choice?
And then there's so much pressure too, because if you put all that work and all that sacrifice and then nothing comes of it, then what? Like then you lost your childhood.
Yes with that. And what is the emotional, mental toll this is taking? Like how much therapy are some of these kids going to be in down the road?
A lot.
What?
Probably.
I don't
Do
know.
they have therapists though in Florida? I don't know if they do. That was my little.
That's
joke.
a good question.
That
I
was
don't
my
know.
little
I have to
joke.
look that
They're
up.
called bartenders.
Yeah, bartenders. There you go.
Well done.
Look at that.
The
Avery
short game is
showing
on-
his comedic chaps.
The short game is on Netflix, and it's very fun. It's short. It's probably less than an hour and a half. So dive in. Enjoy. I like the short game quite a bit. Might come up on next year's best new old movies.
Wow.
Enjoy.
Wait, that'll be too soon. Well, when did this come out?
No, I saw it in 2024.
Oh, so it's not
Yeah.
a 2023 movie.
Oh, no, it's 2013 film.
What made you watch it? You like watching little kids play golf so much?
A person who may or may not be
Oh,
involved.
here we go.
in,
His friend produced.
No. Someone who was up for involvement in my documentary also worked on this, and I very much wanted to see that person's
Oh,
work.
you were screening it
Yeah.
to see if they were
I was
worthy
scouting.
of working on yours.
I had no doubt they were worthy. It was more like, hey, I need to see this movie that the person worked on so I can talk to them about it.
Okay.
Brian's note was not enough cancer.
Not enough cancer.
Could have used a little more.
Can't tell if the little kid is hot.
I don't like where this is going.
All right, I saw a movie that is up for Best International Feature. And I've been told to watch this for months now, and I thought I better get this in before the old vaulty. So it was on my short list of movies I had to catch up with, and that is Das Lesermer. How's it called?
Was that the Driveway Dolls German title?
Lerezimer. I guess that means lounge. And no, that
Is
means
there,
teacher's lounge.
is there a world where you save this for a week? Because I very much want to see this.
You want to see the teacher's lounge?
Well, I don't know where you saw it. Our friend
on my house.
So our friend Mitch
television.
sent us a copy of
You shouldn't
this.
say that.
What?
I don't know how loud that is.
He allegedly.
Oh, sorry. I acquired a screener from a friend.
Reputable.
Yeah.
Yes.
That said, it did not include subtitles.
Oh,
I don't-
well, that's a problem for you.
Yeah, indeed. So I've since
I can help you out there
I have
because I
since
do have a
acquired-
legitimate link.
Nice.
I didn't know actually. We had a friend who did that. I was not aware of that.
Oh,
I wasn't either. I'd like to.
that said, let's save this. Do a prefliction.
Little pre-flick.
Yeah, because I want to hear your thoughts, but I do want to see this.
All right, yeah. So the Teachers Lounge, it's up for Best International. The other one, the next one we're going to be talking about, is also up for Best International. So a couple. And Brian, there is a world, and it's this world where we can do this next week if you would rather. So I'm down with talking the Teachers Lounge with you.
Please.
It is a captivating workplace thriller.
Really?
That is very, very well executed as far as capturing that thriller sense, even though the stakes are fairly low in the grand scheme of things. They might be large for some of the characters, one in particular, but it is a movie that, as you might imagine, coming from the title, it takes place primarily at a school. Not only that, the crux of the issue, it takes place in the teacher's lounge.
Right.
And it's in many ways, it's a microcosm of our society at large right now, which a lot of good adept movies will do. They'll put a mirror on society as it is right now.
Nice.
There is an element of that, right down to how the school newspaper approaches their work. So
Where does this take place?
Germany.
Okay.
And it's about one teacher who's the new teacher. It's like junior high age kids, maybe like 7th grade, 6th grade kids, it seems like. And there's been some theft in the school, and that's the big topic in the teacher's lounge. And this new teacher, who doesn't really have a whole lot of allies, but she does have a moral compass, even though she's surrounded by morally corrupt teachers and jaded teachers. She does what she feels is right, and we see that spiral.
Okay. This will be a Flickfest by us in full next week. I'm excited to see it, the Teacher's Lounge. If you can get out and see it, just be aware that we're going to talk about it. So
Can't wait to
prep
get-
yourself.
Would love the link.
I can hook you up with the link, Brian.
Sweet. Thank you.
That's hurtful.
It reminded me a lot of The Hunt, not the
Betty Gilpin film?
not the Betty Ghibli film, which also I
Gilpin.
absolutely Gilpy,
Right?
Gilpy,
Gilpin.
Gilpin.
Yeah, it's
We haven't
Gilpin.
seen enough of Gilpin lately. Where'd she go? After Glow, she's kind of disappeared. I love that Hunt, but no, the Mad Mikkelsen movie, The Hunt. This has shades of that, but the stakes are much higher, I think, in the Mad
Higher.
Mikkelsen.
Oh, and that, yeah.
In the Mad Mikkelsen, The Hunt. Wow, that's a great movie. If you have not seen The Hunt,
Speaking of which, Promised Land.
Yes, I have a link to
I
that
was
too.
going to say, may or may not have gotten the link.
Okay, so you got a link to that.
But I've already seen it.
Yeah, you have. You've seen it in the old theaters over there.
Now, what is that?
Brian. Okay, so the Teacher's Lounge next week. We've wasted enough time on the Teacher's Lounge. But yeah, the lead is very, very good. Leon Benesch. Okay,
You want to talk Io
Leone.
Capitano?
let's talk Io.
Io Capitano is a 2023 film directed by Matteo Garrone, starring Seydou Sarr as Seydou, and Mustafa Fall as Musa, his cousin. 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is in theaters now. It is nominated for Best International Feature at this year's Oscar Awards. This tells the true story, an amalgamation of true stories, I should say. It's a fictional movie, obviously, about these two Senegalese cousins who decide we're leaving Senegal against the wishes of our family and attempting to make the very dangerous journey to Europe, and the story that unfolds.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you, Anderson, the first half of this movie, I was not really enjoying it. It was a bit of a
movie to enjoy.
It was definitely a bludgeoning of emotions. It was like, oh my God, how much worse can this get? They start off poor and destitute, and they basically their lives get worse and worse as they attempt to make this journey across the fucking Sahara Desert. That said, second half picks up.
What in the
First
world?
half
We have different takes on this movie. Different
Do we?
takes. Okay, I think So what I picked up from the first act of this movie are these two teenage boys who are best friends and cousins, and they live in this little village in Senegal, and it's very family oriented, and they don't have a lot, but they have a lot of fucking happiness, which
Yes.
I think is quite evident. And I was picking up on the fact that there was really no need for them to leave their situation because they had pretty much everything they needed. Maybe they wanted a better roof for the hut that they lived in, but they had enough to eat. They had the entertainment with the dancing, and they had the culture. They had each other.
Family.
They had family. They had good times. I mean, it's really basking in all of that. And they didn't really lean on it or put it right under our nose. But what they're suggesting is the West is calling. The West is calling these teenage kids from this place where they're doing just fine, at least as the film. I've never spent any time in Senegal. I've not been to Africa yet. But what this movie would suggest is these two teenage boys who, when you become a teenage boy, I think we were just talking about it on the After Disaster, maybe here, I don't know, but it's just how much angst and anger and like there's just
After Disaster.
it pulls you into like this very primitive, like must prove yourself, must do all these horrible fucking things. And in this case, these kids, like they were just in love with the idea of going to, they're intoxicated with the idea of getting, being asked for autographs from white people because of their musical talents.
You see subtle signs like they're wearing soccer jerseys, right, from Europe. Like the hegemony of the West's cultural impact is felt all over the globe.
And when the main kid, Seydou, goes to suggest to his mother, his loving mother, that he may be leaving,
she's thrilled. She's all
she
for
is
it.
very, very upset. And to watch him do the 180 was so authentic and heartbreaking because you know ultimately what he's going to do. And he's such a good kid. And this movie is great, but his performance and being just a stand-up guy and being such a sweet, empathetic, great kid at that age. And it's hard to find empathy in kids that are teenagers a lot of the time, and they see it and where it actually comes through. With this kid, I absolutely 100% believe that he was an empathetic
Yeah, he was great. He was the key to the movie.
And then we get to see this journey, which it's funny because I just saw Rebel last week, which is similar in as far as human trafficking. And we saw earlier in the year what's that movie that was getting all the buzz, the one about the human trafficking that everyone was talking about.
The Jim Caviezel movie.
What was that?
Yeah. That was like the Disney version of this and Rebel.
It was called Jesus Saves.
Something along those lines, yeah.
Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom, yeah. That's like the Americanized, Disneyized version of these two stories, Rebel and Io Capitano. I can't... what's that one? that we also saw with human trafficking way back in the day. Fukanga made it. Oh no, it's in Nombre. Another one comes to mind. Like that's like a great trilogy. These 3 movies, and they're all top shelf. All 3 of these movies are top fucking shelf. So yeah, what I got from it was like you're all the grass is always
Sound of
greener.
Freedom maybe a little higher, but
I'm talking about Sin Nombre, Io Capitano, and Rebel, which I just saw coincidentally. But ultimately, they even go see like an elder. They see a couple different elders. Which
you go to see the village fortune teller.
He's like a fortune teller,
He's
like
a witch doctor
who gives them the green light essentially. Whereas the man who's fixing Western electronics is like, you do not want to go over there. People are living on the street in Europe. People, do you want to die? Do not leave this place that you're in the world, which is good to you. You do not want to go. And he gets very angry. And then the 2 kids are like, yeah, well, we're going to go see the witch doctor. And I think there's a lot being said there too. But then we see this harrowing journey.
It is a war of attrition.
And to know that this didn't happen to one person or even the 2 people. These are a collection of stories that the filmmakers gathered from immigrants that they interviewed in Italy and took their stories. I mean, they're credited as well in the on IMDb as collaborating and telling part of their story. So these things did happen to one degree or another, and people are just so awful too.
Yes, there's a lot of taking advantage
people
going on.
A lot, and you get the sense that these people that take advantage of these very, very vulnerable people don't think of them as humans at all. They just think of them as like cattle almost, and it's awful. It's hard to watch, but it's not meant to be enjoyed. Like I said,
it's great though. You do get glimpses of this kid's humanity and, like you said, empathy. Just being a good person, he has opportunities here and there. At one point in their little caravan of people, a woman falls behind and she's being left there. Then he decides, no, she's not going to be left there.
And that's where this other element comes into the movie, which usually doesn't work for me. The fantasy, fantastical element, and I think it was necessary with this one.
I agree.
And you get it in Rebel too. It's hard to not talk about these 2 movies in concert because they share so much DNA. For me, I like Rebel a little bit more than this one. But that said, this is a fantastic movie. This is like a 4.5, 5-star movie that really gives you pause, makes you think about just how lucky you are to already be where you are if you're in a decent place. How lucky we are to cram into a Southwest flight and go across the country.
And when I can't speak for Italian Senegalese immigrants, but when you see the people in your daily life who've maybe gone through some crazy ordeal to get there and where they are, like it really gives you a second pause.
This almost should be like mandatory viewing for like Westerners and people who take things for granted, like so many movies. And I'm absolute and total piece of shit, and I going back to Gleason and watching Gleason and crying watching Gleason, and then I paused it to get up and get a drink of water or something, and I'm like, I'm gonna never take my life for granted. I'm so lucky to have what I have. And then I came back to my screener, and it had started over because back in the day screeners were impossible, and I was irate, and I'm like, oh, it's already gone, it's fleeting. I was on my way here today in an hour and a half of traffic just to get to the studios, and on my way I'm thinking about Io Capitano and just how lucky we are, and then I'm enraged looking at my Waze app going, it's another 45 minutes. What? Well, this fucking kid had to walk 3 days across the Sahara.
An hour and a half drive.
I know. Yeah, it's so easy to lose sight of that.
But he's never sat on the 405.
We have moments, just
he's
moments.
He's reversed the Sahara Desert, but he's never sat on the 405.
And I thought it was a really nice touch to show at the end on the world map just what that journey was. Right. And we might be giving some things away. I would watch this without any kind of trailer. I don't know I had to ask for a screener for this one. How did you see it?
A friend of ours sent me a link.
Yeah, I would imagine this is going to be once the Oscars roll. I think that they're going to use Oscar nomination and put it on Prime or Netflix or somewhere. I'm surprised it's not on Netflix already. But
agreed.
I watched a screener from the studio, which was nice to be able to watch that on my TV screen too. So because it was a Vimeo. Vimeo, they're getting rid of, by the way. It seems like they're not doing any more updates, and they're not supporting it anymore. That's sad. They didn't make it.
I've not seen
Vimeo.
I found this movie, the second half, to be a little more buoyant than the first, if you will. But that said, a good movie, start to finish.
Yeah, I think the first. Yeah, we have different takes on it as far as for half, and it's 3 acts essentially, right? And
Yeah.
the first act was what it was, and then that second act is just, it really tries you.
Up until the point where he helps make the fountain. That is a tough watch.
Yeah. Well, I think that was the point, right?
I'm not saying it's bad.
You
I'm
got to
just
watch
saying-
Rebel, my friend. You need to watch Rebel.
I'll put it on my list.
No one watched Rebel and Fanflickssion from last week.
Not that I'm aware
What's
of.
the matter with you guys? Rebel.
I can't say.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Yeah, Io Capitano, not for the faint of heart, but I think I rarely see an important movie, but it's important. This and Rebel.
Can I wrap it up with, I don't know if you have more. So we're saving Teacher's Lounge. Sorry.
I'm done Preflickssion. We're going to be talking Teacher's Lounge next week, which the stakes are very low compared to the Io Capitano.
Indeed. Let me, sorry, apologize for my voice. Let me wrap it up by just talking about another old movie I caught up with in the last month or so and feels appropriate to bring it out now on the precipice.
Sorry, one last thing about Io Capitano, and this is also where there's similar DNA with Rebel and Io Capitano. So Rebel, the 2 directors that made Rebel, their last movie was the most recent Bad Boys movie, which you would never see. You would never see coming. Like, you would never guess that. Io Capitano, you know what this director made last?
What's that?
Fast and Furious.
No, I haven't. I wrote it down.
Settle down, Brian. I'll just say right here. The Pinocchio fucking movie with Roberto Benigni.
Pinocchio.
That Pinocchio movie that we all actively avoided. That's what he made.
The Tom Hanks one?
That's what Matteo made. No, the Roberto Benigni one.
Or was it the one
The
ages
live
ago?
action,
Yeah.
like 20 years ago.
Oh,
it
that
wasn't
one.
20 years ago.
It
but
was.
That
It
was,
was a
that
long
was the
time ago.
last feature-length movie he made, I
Was it
believe.
not 20?
I believe.
Do we need to keep remaking Pinocchio?
My family gets rich every time we
2019
Oh,
is
God.
when that Pinocchio
Oh,
came
Jesus.
out with
Oh, am
Mr.
I thinking of the
Roberto Benigni.
No, I'm thinking
I was thinking of the
uh,
made-for-TV one.
Yeah, there was one with Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yeah, God.
Roberto Benigni was Geppetto,
God, that was horrible.
That
Jonathan
was 20 years ago.
Taylor.
and you would not guess. Now, speaking of
The
raw,
Adventures of Pinocchio, 1996. Christ, that was bad.
Rebel is harder to watch, and even though there's a savage beatings and torture in both movies, I would say Rebel is the tougher of the two to watch.
Oh, fun.
Does this Pinocchio count as brown face?
One, it looks like Polar Express.
Looks questionable.
Yeah. Uncanny Valley.
Which one?
I think we might be stepping
Animated.
on.
It's an
Yeah, but the
animated-
brown in this case is pine.
Yeah. It's just they went with like a harder wood.
A lacquered wood.
Yeah, they just stained it.
Oh, Rob Schneider was in this. I got to rewatch that.
Anderson, did you say stained?
I'm afraid I did.
Racist motherfucker.
Brian, what's another old new movie you saw? New to you, old to us.
Yes, in fact, I had heard of it, but I wasn't that familiar with it. Have you ever heard of The All Americans? The All Americans?
The Burgers?
It's a documentary from 2017 directed
was
by
dumb.
Billy McMillan.
I liked it.
80% Rotten Tomatoes. I rented this. It is a story. It's a sports documentary about what's it called?
Big smack.
The rivalry, the something, the whatever. The classic, I think is what they call it. It's between two
Wait a
downtown,
minute.
two East LA high schools, and it follow what?
I'm looking at IMDb. It has a total of 8 ratings. This is another one of like your friends or somebody you were going to do business with. So you're like,
guy
oh,
who made the
I'll
movie.
see you.
Potentially.
This is a movie that never got released.
Brian's padding his bank account. He's doing
Oh,
some
no,
pay for
God.
play.
What's happening here, Brian? This movie was not released, I don't think. Where'd you watch this?
I think I watched it on Roku.
It's got 8 ratings. 8.
Well, make it 9.
And there's like 50 people that were associated with making the movie. So, and
Who's giving you these kickbacks?
what's happening here, Brian?
No one. I don't think this person knows that is aware that I'm.
Okay, there's
that I have a film podcast.
7 producers. So even if all 7 producers were to rate it,
There's one person who's not the producer that rated this.
yes.
And it might have been Brian.
Are we looking at the same film?
I like small little movies to be brought to the program. I'm just wondering, like, what's really happening.
I'm telling you exactly what happened.
And
Someone involved with the film was eventually going to be involved with my
It came
film.
out 7 years ago. All you have to do is go, okay, what's the name of the movie? You go to IMDb and go, oh, only 8 people rated your movie? Then I don't know if you're the right fit. See what I'm saying?
So it follows two high schools in East LA. Let me I'm mainly bringing it to the show for this.
Who distributed this?
The first voice you hear, I need you to pay attention.
Okay.
As we get like drone shots of LA, East LA, right? Like just the mass, the expanse of East LA, you hear a voice. Totally unbeknownst to me. Did not know this at all about the film when I rented it. It's Adam Carolla, and it is he's complaining about the number of Mexicans in LA.
I'm quitting the show.
Oh, so it's like not a good Adam Carolla.
And it goes on to, this is a thing they come back to several times in the film, which is effectively like right-wing talk radio hate speech against Mexicans, and like trying to paint the picture of these people are all over LA, but not really welcomed by certain people.
I mean, it's apt, I think, with
It is,
using Carolla.
It's apt. I mean, it's using their words to paint the picture.
Here's the thing, Mexicans.
That actually might be what was said.
Was it on? Were you sitting next to him when he said these words?
I remember the clip well.
So was this during Adam Carolla show days or the Loveline days?
Fuck, who knows?
Brian sprained his neck from nodding.
So
I'm guessing
the guy the producer you were thinking about maybe working with for your documentary had no idea that you were probably sitting next to the culprit who leads off this movie.
Who said as a producer?
Well, what else would the person be?
Maybe
Football
someone
player?
a little more involvement in picking the clip.
Director.
It's not important who.
Well, he's one of the producers as well.
That's a really good point.
Didn't do your homework. Okay.
Anyway, on to the film itself. After we get past the montage of hate speech.
Was that Carolla, like Tucker Carlson, and like who else?
No, it was broadcast over shots of LA.
Okay. So it's just Carolla monologue
for 10, 12 seconds.
Oh, nice, Carolla.
Yeah.
Is he credited?
I know. I didn't check. Look on the IMDb page.
I'm looking. He doesn't look to be credited.
Who reviewed it? Regardless, that's 12 seconds of the film.
Wait, real quick. I'm sorry. Do you think Carolla's happy when if this movie is playing and he's in the room and he's like, that's me? Do you think he's like,
I don't know.
I like that.
I didn't feel like the clip was a cheap shot. Like it's like a full cohesive thought and take and a bit. So it didn't feel
You
as
thought
though
it had merit.
Not that, but it didn't feel as though it was taken out of context or manipulated in some way. I don't remember it that well.
It was honest. It was his honest
take. We're getting
take.
bogged down in a very minor detail.
You can't bring up somebody who we both worked with, who we have thoughts of, and we can't explore it.
I'm just saying it was fun to hear the guy again.
His name is nowhere associated on the IMDb deep.
That'd be a ballsy move.
Starring,
yeah, featuring,
narrated by.
So it goes on to be a sports doc about these two rival high schools that always end up playing each other at the end of the year. And as you can imagine, it follows certain kids through certain ordeals throughout the year. There's one kid who already has a baby. He's like 18 and he already has a baby and he's playing the game. He might be on the team, might not. He has responsibilities, as you can imagine. It also touches on things like, what does it mean to be American, right? Like Americans, we all came from somewhere else, some willingly, some not, and we're all here trying to make it as Americans, making air quotes.
Brian, on the poster at the bottom, underneath the credits, it has a Facebook link. I've never seen that on a movie poster before.
Well, it was 2017.
It says facebook.com/ or just / All Americans Film.
Yep. There's one kid who he's Mexican, obviously, and his family, like his grandparents, his abuelos, are from Mexico, and they speak fluent Spanish pretty exclusively. And he's getting so Americanized that he doesn't speak much Spanish. He doesn't speak Spanish well, I guess you would say. So he feels disconnected from his family. It's those kind of stories, and they're well told, and I enjoyed the movie. It would be hard to access. That said, you can probably find the All Americans documentary from 2017.
On Facebook, I think.
On Facebook, on Roku. There's a few places you get it.
So Abra Morama is the distributor, and I'm on their website right now looking at their movies that they've distributed
Oh,
here.
any others you heard of?
Well, it's hard to tell because I mean this is the website. it's just
Is it
it's just
GeoCities?
years with no movies underneath.
That's challenging.
Is it GeoCities?
GeoCities?
Avery had it.
I do.
What does that mean?
Very old site building
hosting,
from like
yeah. Oh,
I see.
2000.
Maybe
It's
it
not
was,
loading,
Maybe
I
it
think,
was
is the problem.
past its prime by 2000. No, it was circa 2000.
I don't think we've ever talked about a movie save like a listener assignment perhaps had like something in the 40s as far as like
Well,
amount of ratings.
look up Delivering Bert.
Is it on IMDb? I don't think it is.
That's one more obscure.
Well, and I did talk about it, didn't I? Rightfully
Yes, you
so.
brought it to the show.
That's they're about to do a whole NPR 2-part episode on Delivering
can't
Bert
wait.
with Corona. With Corona. Like they interviewed him. They interviewed his two buddies who were part of the Delivering Bert saga. All right, enough of that. Let's see if it's on.
Does Corano put his foot in his mouth?
I think he might.
No, Corona's hardly in it at all. Oh, wait, for the NPR thing?
Yeah.
Delivering Bert is not on IMDb.
Okay, there you go. More obscure. Thanks, Andy.
Come on, Corona. Got to get that up there. Corona. All right. Let's take a quick break and come back with our top 5.
Yeah, old new movies.
Best old news.
After this. Welcome back. Time to count down those movies we caught up with last year. They were new to us, but were from years past, and still made an impression. This just in, Avery has a list.
Not just a list, a top 10 list. So for those Avery haters, you have a lot to hate coming up.
Buckle up. Don't you normally do a top 10, or is that just Vaulties?
Vaulties, I always do top 10.
No, then I just have a top 5 then.
No, we can do
Okay,
10.
sure.
We can do 10. I'm interested too because you have more catching up to do than Brian and I, or at least I, because you are
Brian's seen tons of movies.
touch
Yeah.
younger.
They had to invent new movies for me to see.
They do that every year. That's why the show continues to be of service. How long could the show exist if they just stop making new stuff?
I would imagine a long time.
Yeah. Hey, I'm looking.
You talk about the same movies every week.
I would like to apologize to Abramorama Films because
Abracadabra?
they have some movies that I've seen and that I'm familiar with. So exit through the gift shop.
Oh, nice.
Now you're going to eat your fucking words then.
Senna, which we both
Oh,
like.
these are fucking huge.
Mistaken for Strangers, Escape from Tomorrow, which we didn't love, which was the movie about the shot
The
all
story
on
of the
iPhones
film, yeah.
in Disneyland,
That's
Disney
right.
World. The Look of Silence, which was
Oh, that's right.
They got some big movies. It just took a long time for these movies to load.
Because there's so many.
For whatever reason, the football movie that Brian saw didn't see the light of day. It seems. I'm wondering, did you like that movie though? I still don't know if you
I did.
Okay.
It's,
You like the
it's
editing
a solid sports doc.
specifically.
If we turn the cameras off, would the answer be the same?
We'll turn it off by now.
And then they're more recent. Anvil, the story of Anvil.
Yeah.
That was the last one that I recognize.
Were they involved in Fast X?
They were not.
Anything started with fast.
No. Okay, so let's move on. I feel like Abracadabra or Adorama.
Annapurna.
Watch, I end up making a deal with them in the next few years.
They just find this.
I hope that they never hear this episode. Hey, I came around though. Okay, I came around. Okay. Looks like it's been a couple years since they've had anything of note. All right. I don't know what happened. Maybe the leader over there left. I don't know what happened.
Let's just speculate bluntly.
Okay, yeah.
Top 5 speculations.
Ooh, $1 Billion Babies. Didn't you see that? Or people wanted to see that, right? With the Cabbage Patch Kids. They did that one.
Oh, I meant to see that.
I don't think it's available anywhere. I think that was a problem. I think I wanted to see it, but I couldn't find it. All right, here we go. Sorry.
Keep waxing.
I'm done, but waxing.
Time to count down some films that we saw that were new to us. What's your, do you want to start? Number 5?
No, you go ahead.
Any controversy?
I don't think so. I mean, I almost had a TV show on here, but I took it off last minute.
That feels problematic.
I should have had a couple TV shows because there were a couple like Chernobyl will be top of the list.
Oh, yeah.
And then Nathan Fielder became finally, I have him on my list of some of my favorite people in the world. Nathan Fielder and that Delivering Francis, is that what it was
Finding
called?
Francis.
Finding Francis was one of the best old new movies I saw last year. Saw it twice.
It's not on your list.
It's fantastic, but it's not really a movie because it's the last episode. It's the final episode, season finale of his or series finale. Yeah, but I mean, even though it's like feature length and it's standalone, it could do its own thing. Like you could watch that. I watched it with my mom and my sister for the second time, and they didn't know anything about Nathan Fielder, and they still loved it. So it's a great fucking movie, TV show.
Why is it on your list?
Because it's not really a movie. I thought I just explained that. Like it's a
feature length.
series finale though.
All right.
Didn't get like distribution. It's not theatrical.
Well, there are
release.
plenty of films that we talk about in this show that don't end up in theaters.
Yeah, but they're not like definitive. Like I would never have. Would I? Like Small Axe was my favorite movie of the year.
It was literally on your Walties.
It was my favorite. It was number one a few years ago, and it was five movies that were made for TV.
I have to rethink this.
All right, Nathan Fielder's number one. Finding Francis.
Number 5 for me, Finding Francis. No. Number 5 for me is, by the way, 4 of my 5 were assigned by listeners, which was a very, very nice thing. And I have the assignments. I looked up and went back and saw who assigned them to us. Number 5 for me, Baby Teeth from 2020, assigned by Nick Eats Cake.
Yep. Nick, my boy. Nick.
Enjoyable.
Hey, Baby Teeth is number 2 on my list. So you want to just do this together?
Sure. Why don't we save it?
Okay, we'll save it.
Yeah,
we'll
save it for your for toward the end of the list.
Baby Teeth rules.
Baby Teeth, very good.
All right, so I'll get to my number 5 then, and that is Sick of Myself. Brian, did you see Sick of Myself? You saw it with me because it was assigned to us, right?
I believe so.
Chad Ice. Not only did he assign us Sick of Myself, but Chad Ice is also my editor. He was one of the editors on Groupers, and he's editing. He just wrapped up the short, Loaded for Bear short.
Oh, nice.
Very, very adept, very, very good editor. When he shares his Premiere Pro project with me, and I open it up, I'm like, I don't know what kind of wizardry this man's doing, but I've never seen a timeline look like this. It's
fair.
It's like it's got the pride flag going on. There's so many different colors and things he uses on that. This is not interesting to anyone unless you use Premiere Pro, but the man uses so many different categories and colors, and it's a beautiful looking timeline. Like I could frame it. It's beautiful, and I try and adjust it, and I'm like, I can't because he's doing things that I thought I was a good editor, and I knew my way around Premiere Pro until working with Chad this most recent time, and the man knows what he's doing. Anyway,
So Sick of Myself was very good, and it would be in my top 5, except it violates the one rule we have,
which
is from the year before.
So Sick of Myself is not on my list. And then it gets
removing
stuck.
one for me.
It gets stuck in that weird limbo because what is it going to be on next year's? It can't be now. It can't.
Exactly, it goes away.
All right, Sick of Myself and Dream Scenario should both be checked out. I think Sick of Myself is the better of the two. I enjoyed it more. I think it's a more biting, satirical look at the society we live in today.
And the quest for notoriety, fame, recognition.
Narcissism is really explored here. But yeah, Sick of Myself, thank you, Chad, for bringing that to our attention. You might remember Chad also brought us Greasy Strangler. He's the one that forced us to watch that a few years ago, as well as Greener Grass. Have you seen Greener Grass yet, Avery?
I have. Very strange.
It seems like a movie I think you would appreciate, though.
Very odd. Some of it is a little hard to watch, but very funny.
Can I have my baby back? No, you may not have your baby back. Oh, well, it couldn't hurt to ask, right? No, it did hurt. It hurt a lot for you to ask to have your baby back. It's fucking Greener Grass.
It's so odd.
Becomes a golden retriever, that boy.
Drinking the pool water.
All right, so I gotta go through my list here. Spoorloose, hey, that's an easy one. I wanted to have Spoorloose on my list. It's a great fucking movie. I just feel like I was already so familiar with Spoorloose, and I had already seen clips of it, and I had already seen the remake a few times. So that's why it wasn't initially on my list, but Spoorloose is now on my list. It's a fantastic foreign film about The Vanishing is what a lot of people have probably seen. You may not have seen The Vanishing, but if you had with Jeff Bridges, it's the same. That's the remake of Spoorloose, and it's about a man and his girlfriend / fiance, and they're on a road trip together. They stop at a truck stop, and he goes to the bathroom and comes back, and she's gone, and he becomes obsessed with finding her, and that is the movie. And there is satisfaction, and it doesn't leave you hanging. And you saw Spoorloose with me.
Yeah, I did. I'm wondering why it's not on my list. I'm looking it up right now. It's really good.
It came out a while ago. What was the year? See, I'm not prepared for this. Spoorloose.
1950.
They did a TV series called Spoorloose. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. All right, so Spore Loose is my number 5. It's a movie worth watching. Who assigned
So did they? Did
Spore Loose?
did they? Was it marketed as The Vanishing here in the U.S.? Let's
Well,
not
there's a
call it
remake called
Yeah,
The
I know that, but I'm saying if you were to look for this to stream.
James assigned us The Vanishing, but then who assigned us Spore Loose? I don't have it on my list, or maybe. Sorry to whoever assigned us Spore Loose. I was not prepared for this. I would have done it. God damn it. So, no, Brian. It was just it didn't get a whole lot of marketing out here because it wasn't a big. It wasn't a big release out here.
I understand that. What I'm saying is, if our listener was so prompted to want to find it,
it's not showing up on IMDb.
This is a good pod.
This is the awful pod. I understand that, but what's going on? Why is it not showing up on IMDb? Brian, take it away. I'll figure this out.
I think you might want to look for The Vanishing, which is what it was called, right? Like the American title slapped on it when it was made available.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, that's then on IMDb it's listed as The Vanishing.
Yeah, that's what I have it as.
Because that's very confusing because there's the remake which is also called The Vanishing.
I'm glad you had it on your list because that's a solid movie that was fighting for a spot on mine and did not make it, and so I'm glad we got to talk about it.
The Vanishing came out in 1993. Spore Loose, or The Vanishing as it was marketed here, as Brian adeptly said, and I fought him on it because I'm a fool. 1988 is when the original came out. And we watched both. At least I watched both of them last year, I think. And yeah.
Would you like me to save my 10 till the end or work them in?
Work them in.
They're the same in the end.
Work them in.
I'll do half and half. I'll save 5.
What do you got?
I'll make mine quick. My number 10 is Miller's Crossing. It's the reason I was disappointed by Drive Away Dolls. It was so fucking good. I was blown away by how good John Turturro was in it. Just his range, and it made me think of like top 5 crying scenes. Just him begging at a certain point for one character not to do something. I was blown away.
Like the hat. Like the hat was blown away in the movie.
Yes, I was blown away. And I was kind of surprised this isn't talked about more on the show or just in movie going life. I feel like I don't hear this mentioned.
It gets a little lost. Yeah, some of their earlier work does get a little lost. I always lean on that other Turturro movie that I love so much, and I'm drawing Barton Fink. Yeah, that's from that era of Coen Brothers filmmaking. That's the one that I always like go back to.
Obviously phenomenal, but I feel like this gets a little lost in the shuffle. Gabriel Byrne is amazing in this.
I respond to their comedy more than the noir. Is part of the problem with me personally too. Because this is very noir, but there are funny moments in it.
But I feel like they really nailed it. And I think this kind of, because it flew under my radar, I was especially blown away with how great it was. And then my number 9, something that's been covered a million times on the Film Vault, but I just finally caught up with, is Defending Your Life.
Oh my God.
What a fun movie.
High on, I don't know if the fun scale, but very enjoyable,
Yes.
very cathartic, emotional,
Delightful,
enjoyable. It's just fantastic. I mean, there's not much more to say, but it is my number 9.
Congrats on seeing that. I can't believe you didn't let us know that you saw it and came out. It seems like something you'd come in here quoting.
Well, cards close to the vest. Saving it for this?
Yeah.
Number 4 for me.
It's too many pies. It's too many pies. Way too many pies.
I love the stand-up.
I bring you 9 pies.
I always think of that. Like if I was in there, I would just try and get my my case kicked down the road so I could just go to the all-you-can-eat sushi every night.
Oh, yeah.
It would be the best. Like that would be a great existence if I just sat at a sushi bar eating sushi for the rest of existence. I would never get bored. That's what a glutton I am. I would never get bored.
Sir, how did you die? On stage like you.
Eating the sea. I would just eat the sea all day. All right.
Number 4 for me, 2023 was a big year for us, catching up on Japanese cinema. And Andrew Barton assigned us High and Low.
Very good.
Which I enjoyed very much, and is the number 4 film, Akira Kurosawa's High and Low from 1963. Kidnapping mystery.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That's all you have to say about
it's a whodunit. It's a Hitchcockian in certain ways, and I helped to remedy a blind spot in a bit, seeing so much Kurosawa in Japanese cinema.
When did we see Ikaru though? Because that's the one that's the best that I've seen. by far and away. But that was 2 years ago.
Icarus was 2 years ago. Akira was last year.
Yeah, Akira, different. Akira!
That's right.
Yeah, Akira with the A is
Ikaru
different than Ikaru.
was a couple years ago at least.
Okay, because
I think it was on my list last year.
Because that was the best
was
Akira
great.
Kurosawa
Is that
movie.
which one's the kidnapping gone wrong?
This
High and
is
Low.
High and Low.
High and Low.
Ikaru is the one they remade with Bill Nye. Last
Yes.
year, or whatever it was.
All right, the only documentary on my list, which is new to me, but old, and it's a movie that originally came up. I think it was on my top 5 Sundance preview from a few years ago, and that is Feels Good Man.
That wasn't
Wow, do I love this movie. Came out in 2020, premiered at Sundance, and it's the story of Pepe the Frog and how he was reappropriated or stolen by the extreme alt-right to peddle their messages. And poor Matt Fury, who created Pepe, is just the sweetest, nicest, very bright artist who just wants to live life, man. You know, he likes his little character. It's a fun little character. And to watch him go down this path of following his beloved Pepe, who he gave birth to, essentially.
Co-opted.
Co-opted and is fascinating. It's insightful, sad at times, hilarious at other times, scary. It's got everything. This documentary's got everything. So Feels Good Man, directed by Arthur Jones, is the 4th best new old movie I saw last year.
And it's a pretty good boot camp for internet culture. If you've been tuned out or don't really get it, don't
was for
understand
me,
memes, you'll learn a lot.
Because I don't engage, as you know. My brain just can't take it. I don't play video games because I can't. I don't. There's no off switch with me.
You rarely send memes.
I don't. What's that?
You rarely send memes.
I try not to communicate. Period.
Yeah.
Through spoken word, I like to talk to people, but which my wife was always giving me shit for. She's like, no one wants to talk. I'm like, I gotta call this guy. Just text that person. Don't call them. I'm like, no, I don't like all the back and forth. I like to wrap it up, hang up the call, and be like, yeah, we had a good back and forth there. Not like
I'm one of those.
Calling someone these days is tantamount to assault.
it is.
It's almost as bad as just knocking on their door. It feels like.
Yeah.
I hate
kicking the door down.
Yeah.
the long form conversations that I don't think our brains, or at least my brain, is not. Oh, Jesus.
That's a lot of
A
equipment.
lot of stuff just fell off the table. My brain is not set up for asking a question and then 4 or 5 hours later getting an answer. And then a new question is posited to me, and then I will respond in 3 or 4 hours.
Are we
It's
still
awful.
recording after Anderson dropped all that?
It is awful. Like, I don't think that anyone should communicate that way, right?
That's how we do.
You know what's kind of funny? I don't know. This is after disaster conversation, but this has never occurred to me until talking about this. Like back in the day, that's how you had to communicate, right? You'd write a letter.
Yeah, like Western Union was
Not making a joke, but like
telegram.
send a fucking pigeon or a falcon, right?
Or a horse.
And then we got to like, phones, immediate gratification. We get answers immediately, or even fax. It's kind of quick. And now we're going back to the send a text.
Yeah, we're going back to the Western Union telegram. The send it and get a response tomorrow, maybe.
I need to take care of things now. Get the answers I'm looking for now.
You're wheeling and dealing.
Yeah, I do have a number of clients who only like to text. I got clients I'm looking for. I've not met them in person, and I've not spoken to them on the phone. But they have me doing all sorts of stuff, and they're getting close to like actually making offers, and I've not spoken to them.
You're getting catfished. I realize now that rather than, it's rare that I will call someone out of the blue. Usually I'll text them like, "Hey, you got a minute? Can I call you?" Which feels like an unnecessary step, but here we are.
What do? You call them and ask
No,
them?
you text them. Hey, you got 5
Yeah, I
minutes?
try and do that unless I'm driving. Then sometimes I'll just cold call people. Like I cold called Bruce yesterday. I haven't talked to him in months, and I just called him. I felt bad. Just called Bruce without any warning at all. All of a sudden, you got Anderson like in your ear. I'm sorry.
Oh god, that sounds awful. All right, where are we? You?
I just said feels good, man.
Oh yeah.
My number 7 and 8 for my top 10. I don't know if you could have 2 more different movies juxtaposed. My number 8 is from 1977. I caught up with this one. I was not all that well versed in the Burt Reynolds lore outside of Deliverance, but I was blown away by Smokey and the Bandit. It was
absurd that you haven't seen that.
It was.
I haven't seen it.
It was a.
That's not absurd. You're Brian.
A true delight. I really, really enjoyed this. I don't know if it's still streaming on Netflix, but it's a scant hour 36. And I'm a big 70s movie guy, like 70s car movies too, but inevitably you run into something problematic, whether it's victimizing women or minorities or what have you. This movie holds up, and it was remarkable how unproblematic it was, which was really refreshing to me. It was just high on the fun scale.
Wait, what? Oh, so there's none of that in there. Really? That would be a good gambling game.
Yeah. Is this problematic?
Like with kids who have not, and I say kids, I mean like, people your age who have not seen this movie, and like you got to set them down. Like, is there anything problematic in here?
Because I was bracing myself. I loved Mark Crimmins. He recommended Charlie Varick. I loved that movie. It would have cracked the top 10, but there's some problematic stuff in there.
You still can't be in the top 10 of movie making, even though there's some problematic stuff of its era. You still got to
It still didn't quite make the top 10 for me. But Charlie Varick is another great one with Mathau. If you're looking for some car,
Crimmins has been at me about that for years.
Very enjoyable, and I think it's now streaming on Netflix. But
it is. I just saw that.
Smokey and the Bandit, high in the fun scale, would recommend, and it won't make you cringe.
Cannonball Run. You seen that one yet?
No, because I don't think it's streaming anyway. And my number 7, very different than Smokey and the Bandit. I enjoyed this way more than I thought it would. His Spotlight.
What?
I'd never seen Spotlight.
You
2015
liked it?
Spotlight.
Ryan and I hate it.
I don't know if I could say. I don't know if I could say that it's enjoyable, but it went down smoother than I thought. I was engaged the entire time.
We probably undersold it throughout the years.
Yeah, I think that could be absolutely true.
And the acting was phenomenal. I really, really responded to this movie and thought it was fantastic. And it felt like something that was homework, and it was not.
Ruffalo's thing is fucking awesome.
Yeah, and I thought the whole cast was really strong, especially Ruffalo. And if you've been skipping on this because it feels like dry, boring homework, dive in. It's good.
I'm hearing you. I'm just not looking at you. Sorry.
Smokey in the Spotlight.
Smoky in the Spotlight. Yeah, they are very different movies.
Very different.
However, they're both very white.
Very good.
Number 3 for me. Speaking of delving into Japanese cinema and erasing some blind spots, we saw a lot of good animated films last year, Anderson. A lot of good Japanimation. My favorite of the bunch was assigned to us by Tyler Booth, talking about Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind from 1984.
Princess.
Yes. Is it Princess Nausicaa?
Isn't it?
I thought it was just Nausicaa.
All right.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Written and directed by
It's just Nausicaa.
Hayao Miyazaki. And yes, this is a classic stream on HBO Max. I encourage you to catch up with it if you have a similar blind spot to us, which is not having seen a lot of these movies.
Yeah, it'll show up on my list later.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nausicaa.
I've seen it twice now.
Very enjoyable.
Number 3 for me is a Peter Bogdanovich film, which I can't believe I have Mr. Bogdanovich, or God rest his soul, a movie on my list.
I don't think God has anything to do with it.
Targets. 1968's Targets is stirring. It's chilling. It's a movie that is from 1968, before the end of the hippie era, before things really hit the fan with just how sick human beings can be in the modern society, with obviously with the end of the
Oh, it was Peter Boyle, yes.
with the end of the hippie era.
No, sorry, Boris
not Peter
Karloff.
Boyle. No,
Boris Karloff.
Karloff is, and with Manson. I could not think of Charlie Manson. With Charlie Manson, kind of like making people lock their doors and whatnot. But this is on the precipice of that. This is before that, and it's just a portrait of a sociopath who looks normal, which was pretty ahead of its time. I think the boy next door who just goes on a killing spree for unknown reasons.
Could be next door to your house.
And while this movie is not a big giant production, you got dummies falling off of towers and whatnot. I mean, it is fairly cheap at times. It's all shot out here in and around Los Angeles and the Valley in that era, which had me loving parts of it as well. And it's just a story of like this. He looks like he should be in Gidget, but he is a cold-blooded killer for unknown reasons, which makes it even more chilling. And I love that Targets. I've been meaning to catch up with this literally for decades, since I read about it in like the early 90s. And I finally just last year decided to take the plunge. Can't remember why. Maybe it was for cinematics, because I was still doing cinematics last year. So I love that Targets. Now, people have gotten back to me. I think Carano, possibly Tai, after me going on and on about Targets and how much I loved it. And neither one of them, I don't think, liked it nearly as much as I did. And then I love this kind of thing, too. Like there's a couple water towers that he's up on with his rifle, and he's just picking off people driving down the 405.
Fun.
And And I pass those routinely, probably 3 or 4 times a week. I pass, and they're still there. They look the exact same. The freeway, when we're seeing what he's seeing through the scope, is completely different.
Really?
Because in the other side of the freeway, which is now Panorama City, is not there. It's not there in 1968. But I love
it hadn't been developed.
It's like
Panorama City not there, right?
It's not there, right? But I just love seeing like he's in a drive-in which is no longer there now. It's like condos, but I just love seeing an area that I'm very familiar with on the daily looking yesteryear through the lens of this movie from 1968. So
I like
Targets. Peter Bogdanovich's Targets, starring Tim O'Kelly,
Hold on,
Boris
Corona
Karloff.
was texting me and said it wasn't that good.
Boris Karloff,
Panned.
and Nancy Sue. My phone might chime because I'm going to put take off Do Not Disturb.
Do what you got to do, man. Tuesday's a big day for realtors.
Brian, I don't know why you say that. It's not true. Okay.
Avery, what is your next installment?
My 5 and 6. It was number 6 I was looking for. Something to watch during the holidays. Something fun, something light.
Yeah.
I was blown away by how good Klaus was.
Oh, Klaus rules.
It was
I'm so glad.
made me extremely dusty.
Klaus is great.
Dusty throughout. I can't believe that Anderson, I don't think you liked it as much as Brian.
I like
did.
Klaus. Brian was just pushing it so hard. He's trying to make me watch it in August and stuff. It was the whole thing.
Sorry, buddy.
I don't know if you should do that. But I was completely blown away by the storytelling in this, by the voice acting. It was just so touching on every level, and it just left me floating the rest of the day. I loved it. I couldn't have enjoyed it more.
High in the fun scale.
Very, very high in the fun scale. Very inventive, and yeah, it was great.
Enjoyable.
Just
My
delight.
7-year-old daughter enjoys Klaus very much.
And a delight. My number 5 from 2012. I hadn't seen it until now. I know you guys were kind of mixed on it, but I really, really responded to Silver Linings Playbook. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It did it for me.
It felt off.
I was carried away by
I
it.
wanted to like it so much, but it just felt like they were all acting, which was weird.
I was going to say, I feel like if anything, it doesn't hold up as well because now they're huge stars. Bradley Cooper, Jennifer Lawrence,
Robert De Niro. He's really made a.
Whereas at the time, maybe the newness of them kind of added to it. I don't know. I haven't obviously seen it.
I disagree. Normally, but again, I think this is one that lives and dies in their relationship.
I know
If you
Bradley
don't
Cooper
care,
is an established actor, The Hangover, and all that.
Yeah, I didn't like the character. I didn't care about it. They annoyed me kind of.
That's what I thought was interesting. Normally, I would hate these characters, and I normally do not respond to them. But something about it really touched me, and I enjoyed it.
Have you seen like a lot of the David O. Russell stuff? Like, because if you like that vibe, he does it even better. Like with other things, like Brian doesn't like it at all, but. I Heart Huckabees.
I have not seen Huckabees.
I really like the I Heart Huckabees. Brian does not like it all.
I'd have been
But American Hustle was
American Hustle. Yeah, Flirting with Disaster.
I haven't seen that one.
Fuck yes, with
Oh,
the
that's
Flirting
good.
with
Then
Disaster.
I might be.
dude.
I might be.
Flirting.
Russell.
I think that's my favorite O. Russell movie. It's small, it's comedy, but it's so good.
It's good. It's really good.
Spanking the Monkeys. You can tell that's
It's
the
very
first
indie.
out of the gate. Yeah, but I love that I Heart Huckabees. Brian feels completely justified because I guess he saw him in an interview, David O. Russell, or perhaps it was he read something where David O. Russell was suggesting that he had lost his way while making I Heart Huckabees.
No, this is after the fact. I didn't like it when I saw it.
It's good. It's good.
But I was surprisingly delighted. De Niro was doing a little too much. I don't know if I responded too much to
maybe
what he was
threw
doing.
me off. He was
He was doing something I hadn't seen before, and I don't need to know if I need to see him do it again.
yeah.
But I thought Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence were phenomenal. Really, really, really enjoyed that movie.
All right.
High expectations is what I had going in, and I left.
I think maybe that's what it was. You guys have kind of lowered it. It's been a while.
Could be.
It's cooled off, and now
Yeah.
it's time to revisit.
I'm not going to ever do that, I don't think, but let's move on.
Number 2 on my list. The only film that what?
Take a break.
Oh, yeah,
is
take a
the
break.
time?
Take a
Is the
break?
time? Yeah.
Let's do that.
Sure. Good. Why not? The number fucking interrupt me again.
You're not going to take us out.
Coming on next, a little bit of Amazon, and then the rest of our list of old new movies after that.
43 flavors of jam.
A purchase reminded me that Easter is coming up. Someone got themselves, or got
It never ends.
more likely for their kids, Easter basket stuffers, slime packs. First of all, I don't know, Anderson, do you have thoughts on
I
slime?
definitely have thoughts
Slime
on
will
no
not-
glitter.
Slime
no,
is not allowed in these
no
four
slime.
walls.
That's right. There's a lot of things for kids to play with. Please do not.
What is is this a new thing?
Kids love slime, yes.
And
but
it
Like
stains.
the Nickelodeon
They don't-
slime,
They don't
or
give
what
it.
is
It
this?
just comes like in like a little like Play-Doh package essentially, and they're different colors, and they're slimy and they're wet, as you'd imagine.
So it is
They-
new shit.
They get in carpet, they go on walls,
It
and they
gets
leave the
fucking
stain on the walls.
some girl at Tessa's school, not sweetly, gave her some slime to bring home, and Tessa put it in her backpack, and the container opened. And you can imagine what came home. A
What she got in
slimy
that backpack? I mean, she's in second grade. What she really got in there, though? You know
Oh,
what I
there's
mean?
a lot of stuff. Your kid doesn't bring a backpack to school?
Yeah, I know, but he comes home and there's like nothing in the backpack except for his water bottle and his jacket.
There's stuff. Point is, it was a quite the cleaning experience
Yeah,
for
I'm
me.
sorry, buddy.
It sucked. That said, someone bought slime packs for an Easter basket, and it reminded me, if you're getting tchotchkes, eggs, chocolate coins, what have you,
Peeps.
stickers. We're big into stickers.
Peeps.
Stickers are good. They're not sugary and edible, and they will generally be used within a week.
They end up on your
I know. There's
window
no good,
in your
no
car.
Good answer. No good answer. That said,
Books.
If you're getting
books.
if you're getting books or what have you for Easter, consider helping us out and tapping that banner, tapping that link when you go to shop on Amazon. Costs you nothing. Helps out the show. Other things purchased on the Amazon link that sits at AndersonandBryan.com includes, possibly for Easter, Jurassic World fruit-flavored snack pouches, an Apple iPad 10th generation, Nutrafol men's hair growth supplements, Vivor 5-tier adjustable storage unit, VPEC rolling clothes rack, $99, a weird amount. Why not just go the full $100? $99 Nintendo eShop gift card was
That's
purchased.
funny. Well, maybe they wrapped it in $1.
Oh, clever.
Not bad.
Some little origami right there. VacMaster Professional Wet Dry Vac was purchased. A Ninja Coffee Maker Pro CMT Ultra Finish Saw Blade. Marvel Spider-Man 2 for PS5. PS5 Launch Edition, technically. NASA Tech Garage Door Insulation Foam Kit was picked up. 2 Leviton motion sensor light switches. Fujifilm lithium-ion rechargeable battery was purchased. Someone got themselves a Pet Kit cat water fountain. What is this? Sorry, a lot of small letters there. Datumar cargo mat for Ford Explorer. LG refrigerator water filter. Life cordless leaf blower. Mario vs. Donkey Kong for Nintendo Switch was purchased. Ultima Replenisher electrolyte powder. Nespresso capsules, dark roast. Beyond Raw. Sounds dirty, but it's actually HMB powder. Roadbox compression shorts.
Also sounds dirty.
Yeah, I thought it was like Roblox, but it's like a big thing for kids to play with on devices. Battery tender, 12-volt battery charger. Someone got themselves that old ISO Pure protein powder, creamy vanilla. Oh, delicious. I realize I'm ahead of myself. That's all right. I'm at the post right here. All right, everyone get ready. This is exciting. Someone got themselves Energizer, alkaline power. Yeah, you heard right. AAA batteries. Nailed it.
Why would you laugh?
Nailed it.
Why would you
Yes,
laugh?
it's so terrible.
Hey, this is the last time I talked at you.
Flawless.
Somebody clicked and got themselves some drive. Now, is this a douche move? And I think it might be, but I don't give a Atticus, I had a lot of plans to do different movies and videos and Addy and Andy's with Atticus, and then life kind of got a little bit busier, and I haven't really been able to do much since I moved. I am working on a couple other Addy and Andy things. I shot a bunch of stuff. I just didn't have time to cut it together. I'm trying to find 20 minutes a day. You just chip away at these kinds of things, right? Anyways, one of the things that I had planned when he was like 3 years old was to do recreate a scene from Drive down in the LA River, which is right by us. I've been to that location where they actually shot all that. I was going to put him in his little fake car. And I went and I on Amazon, I bought the Drive jacket, the
for a
smallest
kid?
one they had, right? And it was way too big for him. So I put it in a bag, forgot about it. I found it like 3 months ago. He wears it to school quite often. Is this bad? Is the douche move for a 7-year-old kid to be wearing the
No, I think it's
the satin?
It's
You know, it would
With the
be
scorpion?
A douche move if it was like the year the film came out. At this point, that's just living life.
It's kind of cool, right? It's okay. I don't know if
I'm
any
on
of the
board.
parents, any of the teachers or parents or anyone
Oh,
gets it.
that's a deep hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I like
Okay.
it.
Okay. Good. Thanks for signing off. So someone clicked through and got Drive. La Bamba was also clicked through.
Yeah,
We got people
smart.
talking La Bamba because of the last week. Georgie Girl was clicked through, as well as Nightcrawler, Chicago, The Kingsman, It Chapter 2, The Holdovers, Fuck the S, Fremont, Rebel, Fuck the S, Rebel, Dream Scenario, and All Dirt Roads, Taste of Salt. I had that on my list, but then I read more about it. I'm like, you know what? I don't think I can actually get through that without being upset. This just doesn't seem like an Andy movie. All Dirt Roads, Taste. Hey, if you saw that and you're hearing this and you have my email, will you let me know if you think I should watch that before the vault is? Because it was on my list there. All Dirt Roads, Taste of Salt. Seen it's on a lot of like critics' lists. Best movie of the year. Just doesn't look like it was made for me.
All Roads Taste of Salt?
Yeah, and then Cross of Iron is the last movie that was clicked through. Thank you very much for clicking through, everybody. And now back to the Pro 3 AA batteries.
Hey, that's my line. Hey, we're back. Time to talk about some old new movies, which we've been doing, so we're going to keep talking about it. Number 2 for me, going back to 1977, the only film that wasn't assigned to us. I think I saw it because you were talking it up so much, or maybe because William Friedkin had just passed away, and I realized that we were going to a list, and I had some catching up to do, so I saw Sorcerer,
Sorcerer.
my
Fuck
number
the
2
yes.
film
Fog of War.
that I cut up with last year.
Wages of Fear.
Ironically, not a start to finish great movie, I don't think, but the parts that are great are really fucking great. Like I'll never forget the truck on the bridge on the rope. Well, I guess it's a wood bridge, but it is a harrowing scene, white knuckling it across the bridge in a rainstorm, and I that is what you want of a movie, which is, if it's not going to be great start to finish, which not a lot of movies are, at least it has some absolutely indelible moments that you're like, I will not forget seeing that.
Yeah, it's just, it works as a full movie from beginning
It's
to end.
good, but
The
for me,
setup is fine.
It's uneven, but for me, the parts that are good are great.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sorcerer, number 2.
All right, very good, very good. It's I can't believe there's something better than Sorcerer, because Sorcerer is so freaking tight. The most white knuckle ride I've ever had was a movie.
Yeah, there are certain parts where you're like, I am riveted. I cannot look away.
The Dynamite Sweats.
Looks like Eric Robbins just assigned us in real time a 3-hour Chinese epic.
Oh, fun.
Timely.
So we might have to. This is your idea to let people.
It was my idea.
Yeah, for the Patreon level, $25 a month, people can assign us a movie. Yeah,
And what I'm seeing looks fun.
it does. I guess it's the only. It's called The Battle at Lake Changjing,
They're
and
gonna
it's
say
the only large budget movie he's ever seen out of China.
They're going to say it's the only Chinese movie worth watching.
You see all those people just get cut in half all at once. It's a war epic. I hope they're fighting the United States, and this is like a not too distant future.
Oh,
That'd
is
be
it
pretty sweet.
dystopia? Yeah,
I would like
alternate
that.
history.
But 3 hours? Come on, guys. Can't you tell your story in a couple hours? 2 hours and 55 fucking minutes. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, back to the list. Number dos for me is a movie that was new to me as I saw it last year, and I had not seen it before. But boy, was I happy that Baby Teeth was assigned to us.
Indeed.
Brian, we already talked about Baby Teeth a little bit. You want to take it away because it was on your list.
Oh,
As well.
well, it's higher on yours, but I guess we can talk about it.
I like to hear your voice more than mine.
Wow. It's a 2020 film directed by Shannon Murphy. Shannon's debut film, starring Eliza Scanlon and Toby Wallace. Ben Mendelsohn is also in there. It was assigned to us by Nick Eats Cake, and this is an Australian film that swept the equivalent of the Australian Oscars Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, Supporting Actor, and Supporting Actress, as well as Screenplay. Justified. It's really good.
Yeah. It's a fantastic movie. It really
Streaming on Hulu.
We haven't even talked about the premise at all, but it's kind of got an easy A vibe to it, but it's a lot the stakes and the premise is a lot more real life.
More me Earl and Dying Girl a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, because it's got the death on the horizon right there. But it's about a young girl who doesn't have many days left because she's terminal, and but she's trying to make the most of life, and her parents are great, and they're trying to do right by her as well. And
you get the impression she's set up for a certain life. She goes to a private school. Is it all girls? Point is, it's a very well-to-do school, and she takes the bus. Then one day she decides, hey, rather than go to school, I'm going to follow this miscreant and see where life takes me.
Yeah, he means well, but he's much older than she is, and he's a lot of parents' nightmare to have this guy dating your younger daughter. But she doesn't have much time left, so they're faced with this, and it's very much her story. But still, the parents are very peripheral, and that's why I cited Easy A, because the parents were so great in there as well. But they're faced with this. I can imagine this happening in real life, probably more often than we like to think. Like, do we let her live out her dream because it's not going to have any lasting impressions because she's not going to be here to fuck up her adulthood? You know, all these questions.
I agree, but not even living out her dream. Just do we let her enjoy herself for the last, whatever it is, 2 months or
yeah, living out her dream probably wasn't right, but
like at this point, who are we to step in?
And the boyfriend, who was very likable. I mean, also that was a point that needed to be made, or something that had to happen within this movie. Is if we didn't like him as an audience,
if we identified him as bad for her,
it wouldn't work at all. But he played by an actor named Toby Wallace, who we have not seen enough of. He's going to be in Bike Riders, I guess later this year. So dumb this movie isn't being talked about this time.
Is that the
Tom Hardy movie they got shelved? He's also in the Royal Hotel, which I'm going to try and catch up with, but that was from the writer-director of The Assistant, which was also new to us last year, which just missed my list. But he's in both of those movies. This Toby Wallace.
The Assistant almost made my list.
I know, me too. The Royal Hotel is not getting the same kind of praise as the Assistant did. But anyways, Toby Wallace, a fine actor, and she is also a fantastic. The cast is great. Eliza Scanlon played Mila in Baby Teeth, and I absolutely love this movie.
Great movie. Very good.
Very good movie.
That was your number 2. Avery, what's your 3 and
4
and 3?
4 and 3, 3 and 4. My number 4, I had been putting it off because I wasn't inherently interested in the subject matter. I'd heard great things, but I thought, how much could I really give a fuck about a movie about ice skating? But I saw 2017's I, Tonya.
Oh,
and God damn it, did it pop.
It's a good movie.
Margot Robbie is fantastic. I think
she really is.
She cemented herself as one of my favorites between this Barbie and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad, whichever the good one is. She's just always a delight to see. I really enjoyed this.
This one could have gone off the rails in so many ways.
Yes.
It could have been like the wrong tone, the wrong whatever. It was perfect.
It was snappy. It was fun.
What it needed to be.
I love the storytelling. Allison Janney's absolutely fantastic. The dumb the husky guy who I always think of as the Juggalo from I've got his name right. The Juggalo from Always Sunny. He'll always be
Wallace
that to me. Is Paul Walter Hauser.
There you go.
Paul Walter Wallace. No, Paul Walter. He's got the 3 names.
He was Richard whatever.
Him as the brains behind the operation was really enjoyable to watch.
He was the one in the Clint Eastwood movie, the bombing, the Olympic bombing.
Yes. There's a bombing in Centennial Park. Whatever it was. Richard something.
Richard Belzer.
Really, really, really enjoyed I, Tonya. And then my number 3 has been talked about a million times on this show. Again, not that it felt like homework, but it felt like, there's bigger movies that I haven't seen, bigger blind spots. So I've been putting this off, but I finally saw Thunder Road. And God damn it, Jim Cummings.
Yes.
After seeing this, it is astounding to me that he is not
a breakthrough huge star.
He was unbelievable in this.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, just the caliber of acting. I think this is
Such an audacious opening scene.
Not the Winnie the Pooh Jim Cummings. It's the younger
Yes.
Jim Cummings.
and it is.
Who's Jim Cummings? Never mind.
But it was just, I was completely blown away by just the range he shows, how funny he is, how tragic he is, how heartbreaking. And it was such a tight narrative, too. I just responded greatly to this. And it's still shocking to me that he's, not only is he not well-known, not a household name, he's not well-known amongst moviegoers.
No.
I feel like
He's
if
flying under the radar.
he
And
seems
he's doing
completely
things on
under
his
the
own
radar.
terms. He's not playing the game. I think that he probably could and be a lot more visible if he were. But in seeing him in interviews, he's trying to forge his own path, which I don't know if you can do, even with all that talent and
Yeah.
charisma. I don't know if you can do that work outside the studio system and to the level that he's trying to do it. I don't know. I mean, we've seen outliers, obviously, but they usually get sucked up into the
Right.
studio. And I'm sure that he's had suitors. Right now, he's got 2 on the horizon. They're both short films. I don't know.
But he shouldn't be doing short. He should be in things. He should be booked. He should be turning things down left and right.
Yeah, he could play, and he's got range too. I mean,
Yeah.
he could play the likable guy and the douche quite easily. But yeah, he was the writer. For those of you who might not remember, just I think it was last year. The beta test was, maybe 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. The beta test and
Snow Hollow.
but the beta test was like my favorite movie of the year, or maybe tied with Riders of Justice. Just a really adept, great storyteller, and he tells it with such fervor and comedy, and he drives the story too with his acting. And The Climb, he was involved with The Climb. He hangs out with those guys as well.
Yeah,
it's the same type of vibes,
And he
type
had
of tone.
he had a fun cameo in Barry in the most recent season. So that gets me hopeful that it seems like he's friends with a lot of people who are well connected, I'm sure, and in the comedy scene and all that. But I just want him to because I don't know if just his solo project is going to take off to the degree to launch him.
Yeah,
Especially if Thunder Road did. And I don't know what else
we all need more Jim Cummings, is what we're saying.
would really get him there. I was blown away. You somehow did not.
I didn't
Somehow
sell it.
undersold.
I don't know how. I've been saying it for a long time.
I was somehow still blown away by just the strength of his performance.
Now, have you seen the beta test?
Yeah,
Okay.
which I loved, but
Wolf at Snow Hollow.
I didn't love that one.
No, neither did I. It was good. It was really good, and I would have liked it if it was just like its own thing. But I was expecting a lot because it's Jim Cummings,
Yeah.
and it's not. It was a different type of movie. He set out to make a comedy horror film and genre film, and like that. It looked good though. That werewolf looked pretty good.
But I think Thunder Road is the high water mark, and I cannot
I'm with
believe
you. I'm with you. I like Thunder Road more than Beta Test. Even that was like my favorite movie of that year. So.
he must be turning down a ton of stuff. I mean, there's no way he hasn't been getting approached.
Very likable.
For big
And
projects.
I've talked about it on the show, but like it all started with him doing a short film for Thunder Road, which was just him doing that opening
funeral scene, yeah.
The funeral scene, one shot, and took it to Sundance, and he got to Sundance with it, and was making fun of Sundance the whole time he was there. It was like little video vlogs. It seems like he's fairly punk rock in his ethos and the way that he approaches all this. So I don't know. Yeah, I think that we are, for every time he's not in a movie, we're all getting gypped.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of times.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to say gyps anymore. We're all getting screwed.
That's right. Jip is from Jip.
What kind of a world is it where screwed is more polite than gypped? You have neighbors.
You were like that. When there's hope behind it.
Number 1 for me is Nausicaa. It's already been talked about ad nauseum. It kind of
Isn't it
finally,
Barbara?
Oh, that's right. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. Number 1, Nausicaa. I absolutely love Nausicaa. The Valley of the Wind.
It's great.
It's a great movie. It opened my eyes to. I mean, I already knew a little bit just from my love of Spirited Away, but it opened I'm like I need to see more of his movies, and we have
His
been doing
movies
that.
are
with
very in
Catching
line
Up.
with this, with the creatures and with the fantastical. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think we liked Princess Mononoke quite a bit as well, but for me, I like Nausicaa more. I went back and saw it in the summer in the theaters. Brought my then 6-year-old, and he also loved it. And yeah, it's a great movie. It's all about empathy and dealing with rage and turning the other cheek and bringing people together and bringing creatures together. I love it. I love the themes.
I can't quibble. Number 1 for me is controversial because it is the aforementioned Finding Francis.
Ooh,
I know, I bent the rules for this one. It was, of course, a TV movie.
no wonder you were fighting me so much when you're like, why not? I should have seen
There's
that
a little
coming.
bit of a foreshadowing. An 84-minute documentary that was the de facto series finale for Nathan For You, directed by Nathan Fielder, signed by Stephen Morris. I'm very glad I saw this. I think about this movie a lot.
Stephen Morris. He's like the he's a very very large contributor to Loaded for Bear.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very very large.
He's a large
Christmas
contributor
Eve, he threw a whole bunch of money at the project, which is
well,
very,
Stephen,
very
thank you for doing that, and thank you for supporting this show by assigning us Finding Francis. I think about this movie a lot, both in good ways and bad. Not bad as in like, oh, that sucked, but bad as in like, that is a very unique character who I don't think I'd like to hang out with.
You feel for him though. You know that kind of guy is out there. He lives amongst us, and we get to really explore what that character is.
Because he's one of those people where you can't even imagine what's happening behind in his life or behind him.
You can though, because when you see him going through the paces and like he has to do the role playing on the stage.
No. But I mean, in terms of if you just ran across him on Hollywood Boulevard being Bill
Unchecked.
Gates,
Like that
you
guy's
go,
day to day.
you would have no concept of. You go, what could this man's life possibly be?
He's a great example of what happens to somebody who doesn't have friends or family that keep them in check, and you can kind of just spiral with your own thoughts, thinking that you're right, thinking this is okay, and just go down this path. And Nathan decided to follow him and encourage that path just to see where it led. And without giving the ending away, the movie still holds up, if you can call it that, without giving you what you're expecting and waiting to see the entire movie. And it's still
He
somehow nails the landing.
He makes some of the most compelling just television that I've ever seen.
He really does.
Just what he's able to do with it and what he's able to wring out of you emotionally, which is why The Curse blew me away, because he did that in a scripted format.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know if he was capable of doing.
Oh, Nathan and Jim Cummings need to get together.
Oh,
Can you imagine?
They must be friends.
They must be friends.
They must know each other.
We need to broker this meeting.
You need to see the rehearsal.
I know.
And if you respond to Finding Francis, I think you need to see the rehearsal.
I have a
too.
3-hour Chinese
It is
movie that I need
compelling.
to watch.
It's on HBO Max, so easy to watch.
I'm a little bit tentative to say, okay, because he gave us options, Eric Robbins did. And I don't know if we should watch a 3-hour Chinese war epic, because I'm afraid that it might be propaganda.
I vote for anything else.
Who are they? Who are they fighting? Who are they fighting? Okay. In the fierce battlefield in the midst of the harsh weather conditions, Wu Kai Li and Wu Wan Li, two brothers soldier, including the brave Chinese soldiers, must fight together and find a way to cope with the invasion of U.S. forces. I'm in! Fuck yeah! Oh, I'm excited to watch other propaganda against us. I'm in.
That was saved, rescued from the jaws of defeat.
It's very enjoyable to watch their depiction of Americans.
Oh, I'm in.
Especially high-ranking officials.
We're watching this.
That's what it was.
If it was like Korea or something, I'd be like, we're out.
Shin Godzilla. I think that's one of my favorite things is their depiction of the U.S. president.
Yeah.
Just the writing is clearly translated, and nobody who like actually is a native English speaker was involved. It's ridiculous. He's just this. You can't even tell what political party he is in such a weird
Just
way.
Western.
He's just like Southern guy that has no sort of affiliation with either party, and it's very enjoyable.
I'm in. Okay, I've been meaning to see Shinzilla. That'll probably be on my list next year, I bet. Hey, if I have a successful year, Shin Godzilla is going to be on my list.
That's the sign of a good year.
It's a very fun depiction of Americans.
Also, Rands.
Oh, my 1 and 2.
One and two.
1 and 2. My number 2. I think horror is criminally underrated on this podcast. Does not often get its due, and I caught up on a movie that you both enjoyed tremendously, and this is the sort of stuff I want more out of Jordan Peele. This caliber of stuff, which is Candyman.
I like that Candyman.
I was blown away.
Do you know what it's like 5.4 on IMDb or something?
Really?
Didn't it get involved in some political somehow?
I think somehow, yeah.
I thought it was extremely inventive the way they did the storytelling with the paper
was it
cutouts.
Yeah.
I thought the actual cinematography and the way it was shot was amazing. The acting was phenomenal, and the score was great.
Score
and it was scary. There was a thriller. There was a thriller element to it. There was tension, and I thought the social justice elements of it were very, very effective. I was really blown away by this, and this to me is the caliber of filmmaking I want to see from Jordan Peele.
Yeah,
I agree. To return to this, because this is what I'm hoping for.
Nia DaCosta is the director of this one, and she deserves all the accolades.
Yeah, it was
came her way for this.
And Jordan Peele was one of the writers on this. But I think this is what. So I don't know if that means that Jordan Peele maybe should be more of a writer. If that's where his strong suit lies in terms of producing these sort of, because I thought this was a masterpiece.
I think it's the writing. I think his direction is pretty good. I think.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
But whatever it was, I thought this was a masterpiece. I was really, really blown away.
And
by
it's
how
5.9 5.9 on IMDb right now, which is criminally
Ludicrous.
low. It got groupered.
Was it doxed to some degree?
Yeah, it's something. I don't know if it got doxxed. I don't think they let everyone know where the filmmakers live, but
Well, you know what I
it,
mean,
did
they
it got
got,
attacked. It got
brigaded.
attacked.
I think targeted online. Is
Brigaded.
What do you mean by that?
But
And,
and it's only 90 minutes, and it's really, really, really good. I think this is just a high benchmark for horror, and this is something I would point to if people are like, I don't know if I like horror. I would certainly point to Candyman as one of those to watch.
Coleman Domingo in there.
Oh, so good,
What else you got?
so
Is that
good.
it?
My number one. I'm always reluctant to watch animated movies. It just feels like what is it?
My
Man in his
child and my boy.
30s need to watch this animated movie for.
I was the same way.
I caught up on a movie, 2016.
Huh.
Dusty throughout. Zootopia.
Zootopes.
Damn, it is a
That
good
was my
movie.
number one movie of the year.
It's so
It's
so
Number
good.
one, with unabashedly favorite movie of that
It
year.
just sings. It's
so good.
delightful from start to finish. Strong cast, strong performances, and I don't know if it's possible to oversell this.
Yeah.
It was just
I hear the stupid,
it's so good.
the stupid song that's somewhat associated with it because they play it in the credits, which really bothered me at the time. 'Cause
Yeah.
It felt like an ad for what's her name? Who does it?
Oh,
she plays like a gazelle.
Shakira.
Shakira. It's,
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It felt like a needless ad jammed into that movie, but now with all these years that passed, like I associate that song with the movie, and it was on like a CBS the other day, and I started tearing up. I swear to God,
It's so good. It just sets out to what it sets out to do. The world is so well imagined, and they just really explore.
Are you
all
saying they
those
built the
different
world
options.
really well?
They really did. And I just miss Idris Elba. I feel like he's not in enough stuff. I don't know what's going on with his representation. He should be somehow bigger than he is.
They were talking about making him the next James Bond.
I know, but he's phenomenal, and this is the surly chief.
Oh wait, he was in that old. Wasn't that him in the Bob Marley movie that you said we should have watched? Wasn't there another Bob Marley? He was in there,
2003,
right?
Also called One Love. Yeah,
He wasn't.
2003. Yeah, I think he was the manager that
Yeah.
gets shot probably. But yeah, Jason Bateman, Jenny Slate, Jennifer Goodwin. Just a phenomenal movie. If you've somehow skipped this like I had and it feels like kid bullshit, please see this.
Agreed.
Please.
Brian,
see
that was
Zootopia.
probably in your Vaulties, right?
No, I like it very much. It's crazy to me. I don't know, Ava, if you, because of your aversion to animated films, have you seen Moana?
Not yet. 'Cause it's in the
Moana-
same category
Moana
for me.
and Zootopia came out the same year. Zootopia beat it for best animated feature, and to me, Moana's a little better.
That's
Really?
insane. It's fucking insane what he's saying right now. That's insane.
I disagree.
It's
That
crazy.
said, we're talking about an A and an A plus. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it's crazy they came out.
We're
in the
talking
same
about an
year.
A and a B.
No, Moana's
Easy.
fucking rad.
Moana's okay.
Can I say I watched
That
it
fucking
on-
chicken needs to
I
like be
watched-
rewritten.
I watched it again.
I
on
gotta add
Sunday.
this.
Yeah.
Watched it again on Sunday.
You watched the live action yet?
There's no live action.
Moana?
No.
They're getting close to it.
I hope not.
It's
I'm
true.
gonna walk
100%
down
true.
there- I'm gonna walk down there with the fucking.
See, like
ball
I'm
on my
I'm
chest.
taking glee and ruining
I'm
your
gonna
life
walk
right
down
now.
with,
Moana.
yeah, I know. I understand that it's being.
How do you
worked on.
spell? How do you
Very
spell?
upset. That said,
I
I
see
think
what you're
Moana's a little better, but we're talking about two great movies.
I gotta add it to
So
the
you
list.
really believe Moana's better
Yeah,
than Zootopia?
I do.
That's insane.
They're both great. I'm not saying one's bad and one's good. I'm saying
No, you're saying one's better than the
splitting
other.
hairs. I gotta go with Moana.
Interesting.
What does Rotten Tomatoes tell you to do?
That's interesting. I bet the scores are pretty comparable.
How do you spell Moana?
Moana.
Right there.
Fuck, Candyman was so good.
Moana.
Moana.
Yeah. IMDb backs me up.
But Zootopia blew my
Are
mind.
they the same?
No, I 7.6 for Moana, 8.0 for Zootopia.
Yeah, they're both really good.
Oh, the sloth scene alone.
Oh,
The sloths are
500,
great.
541,000 ratings for Zootopia, more than Moana. That's surprising.
The sloth scene alone.
The sloth scene is great. There are like some shorts though that involve the sloth, and they kind of beat that horse. Like,
Sullied it.
It's too much. Yeah, a little too much. But yeah, the sloth scene had me crying of joy, joyful crying in the theater. I felt like such a douche, but it was earned. It was so.
God, I
so
love
good.
Zootopia.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best.
Alan Tudyk's in both of them.
Have you watched the new Tudyk I am a Alien movie?
No.
Alien show. I think it's on Netflix or something. I watched the trailer. I'm like, I can't. It has like
Oh, he's the yeah. I've not seen it.
he's like talking to himself in the mirror. I think he's like, you know how long it took me to make this body work? And then there was some fun music and a montage of him falling and stuff in the kitchen.
So
and I'm like, no,
this
this
just
will
in.
not be watched.
Rotten Tomatoes scores. Which do you think is higher? The one is 2
Look,
points.
obviously, if you're bringing it to the table, obviously, if you're bringing it to the table,
One of them is 2 points higher than the other.
As he's sitting up straight in his chair.
Zootopia is higher.
Zootopia is higher,
Yes.
98% versus 96.
Yeah.
But that's my
'Cause that's a
point. They're
better
both
movie.
great.
It's a better movie.
All right.
I'm surprised that Moana's as high as it is. Moana's
No,
I
okay.
added it to the
Moana's
list.
okay.
It's again, it just feels like homework. I'm not saying it is, but they always feel like homework in my
Brian,
mind.
you're confusing your daughter, the joy you feel
I
in
loved
watching your
Moana
daughter.
before Tessa was born. So, take that.
I just know they always reduce me to a dusty pad.
Yeah. I for what it's worth, I find Moana dustier.
Also, Rance. Also, Rance.
Dustier.
Got Finding Francis, which I left off the list to not upset you. California Split.
Wait, what do you think is better? The sloth scene or the crab shiny scene in Moana?
They're apples and oranges. One's a musical number.
I know, they're so good.
I got more joy out of the sloth scene.
Really?
But I'm not a
No,
music
they're
guy. You
both
respond
great.
to music.
See, and I think that's what I'm afraid of too. I'm less of a music guy in terms of musical elements.
Here's my
They're
argument.
both great.
Here's
There's
my
no
argument.
wrong answer except
You
for
bring
your answer.
Jermaine's, you take his shiny crab song out of Moana, and then you take the sloth scene out of Zootopia. Which one suffers more? Because when I think of Moana, I think of that crab song.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I would say the opposite. I'd say that the sloth scene is better, so thus taking it out would be worse.
I don't think so, because I think there's so much goodness around the sloth scene that the movie still.
They're both great. Why can't we just enjoy
The sloth scene
both?
does kick it up that notch, though. You're just like, holy shit. Same with the shiny. That's a great song. I remember changing Addie's diapers listening to that song.
Do you remember the sloth's name?
Wasn't it like Carl or Stu or
Flash.
Flash? That's right. All right. Also, Rent.
I got none.
California Split, the Altman movie, which I finally watched, the gambling movie. Boston Strangler.
Wait, sorry. What did you watch?
California Split. Gould. My Neighbor Totoro. Totoro. The Assistant. Go ahead.
Yep, me too. But I'm a cheerleader. But I'm a cheerleader.
I didn't like that.
Level 16.
Oh, level 16. Yeah, that was good.
The ironically named Pleasure. Not a pleasure to watch.
It was not a pleasure to watch.
The Smashing Machine, one of the better documentaries I saw. The Big Hit was surprisingly fun.
Rampage, which was a William Friedkin movie, which I caught up with. Last Looks. There was some really good stuff in that Last Looks. And I think it suffered a little bit because of old Nazi boy over there. But it's a good movie. What's his name? Mel Gibson.
The Charlie Hunnam.
Yes,
movie.
yes. I really like that.
Rudderless was good.
Rudderless was very good, yes. And then This Mountain Life, documentary directed by Grant Baldwin.
All I can think of is
Mountain Life?
I did. We saw it together.
So good.
All I thought was how much Jillian would hate the snow art. No one should ever spend this much time on something.
What are you talking about?
The opens with the guy wearing snowshoes making giant
Oh, yes,
snow
yes.
art. I'm like, Jillian would hate this.
Listener Grant Baldwin, even if he wasn't a listener, I don't know if I would have seen it if it wasn't brought to me by the guy who made it himself, but Grant Baldwin made a very, very good movie called This Mountain Life. He also made Just Eat It, which we reference quite a bit. But if I saw this in a vacuum, or I didn't know Grant, and this movie was just thrust upon us, this is a very good movie. So I'm not just saying it because he's a listener.
Drag Me to Hell was surprisingly effective. And a movie I did not enjoy one bit, but I still think about. Dogs Don't Wear Pants.
Dogs, no, they don't wear pants. Nick eats cake. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for having
Finally,
us watch.
for me, I need to at least acknowledge, while I cannot put this on my list, I cannot have 2 TV projects on the list. Band of Brothers was really excellent.
So good. Did you watch all of it?
No.
I don't think you did, right? I couldn't stop. I watched the entire series. I had no business doing so. I was
would
sacrificing
never-
sleep.
I
I
would
was
never
being
do
all
that.
like edgy and sketchy for days on end because I'd only have 4 hours of sleep. But I'm like, I got to watch this Band of Brothers. The least I could do is watch them go through this because they're the greatest generation.
That's true.
You get Masters of the Air to look forward to.
What's that?
Masters of the Air. It's on Apple Plus right now.
Oh, it's like
It's,
dogfighting.
but in the sky. It's the same thing. Band of Brothers, but done in that style.
But in the sky.
But
Okay.
in the sky with Austin
we-
Butler
Oh.
and Barry Keoghan.
Oh, yes. I have seen something about this. And I turned my back. I turned my nose up because it's TV.
TV.
All right.
My also rants could be their own top 5.
We're doing this.
Treasure of Sierra Madre.
How is that not on your fucking list? What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you?
What a year.
I know.
What the hell?
Paris, Texas.
Eh.
Porco Rosso, you got to see.
I know, I gotta see that
Porco
Porco.
Rosso
Gotta see it.
is enjoyable. Charlie Varick, and then this narrowly missed the list, and this will infuriate Anderson, but I did love this movie, Dinner in America.
Not in your top 10.
Not in my top 10.
How is that not in your top 10?
This is
I might be mistaken.
Hey,
I think you're mistaken.
hey guys, if you're listening and you'd like to apply for the open producer position,
Yeah, them's
please just
fighting
email.
words. I mean, I would expect that to be off of Brian's top 50, but not your
had to be
top
honest.
10. I thought that
I had to
we
be
were-
honest.
How do you recover?
He's
from
got
this?
Thunder Road #1, which lines up, makes perfect sense, and then Dinner in America is.
I know.
Where do we go?
Where do we go, Avery?
Are we going to
I like Smokey and the Bandit. It was great. It was good.
All right, let's gamble and heal these wounds.
Dinner in America, you fool.
Gambling. Last week we gambled on Drive Away Dolls.
I said hi.
Anderson gets 86, Brian 69
Yeah, bro.
with 158 reviews. Actual Rotten Tomatoes score is 66.
Nice.
Making
I am
Brian-
dialed in.
We'll be watching the battle at Lake Shingen.
We're watching this?
Yes. If you can't get to it this week, I'll give you a mulligan. But I think it's 3 hours, so and we got a lot of catching up to do and whatnot. But I don't want to be too far behind with the listener list because I got to go audit, and I'm sure we owe tons of people movies. So
What's it called? Battle where?
the battle at Lake Shingen, and I want to see Americans beat naughty. It's gonna be great. It's only a 5.5 on IMDb because there's a lot of American Raiders on there. Probably like, not this, not in my America. Sorry, I should do a different accent.
Where can this be seen?
Not in my America. Prime Video for $3, or you can go standard def for $2.
Okay.
I don't know if you should do that.
Oh, there it is. 2021 film, yes?
Yes. Which was 2023. 'cause
Only
it might
available
make
on Amazon.
a lot of blood in the trailer. A lot of, what's, does China have issues with blood in their censorship? Because apparently they gave it a pass here. I don't know.
I'll research that. Let's do some gambling.
Unsurprisingly, we're gambling on Dune.
What if this
two.
movie works on me and I come back?
Fuck,
Come in
does
here next week with a giant red star.
Does
on my
Dune really come out on Friday?
Yes, it does.
Fuck.
If you don't have your tickets, you're fucked.
Shang.
I've
I feel
seen
like
that.
I
I'll be
feel
watching
like
Shang Jin instead of
if
Dune.
I do have my tickets, I'm fucked.
Seeing that shit in IMAX.
Yeesh. Okay.
Max me out.
I got a number. On 3. 1.
Wait. Oh, fucking Dune.
On 3. 1. You ready?
All right.
1, 2, 92.
83.
Anderson gets 92. Brian,
I
83.
may have gone too low.
With 154 reviews.
Already? Oh, shit.
The current Rotten Tomatoes score is 97%.
Oh, fucking A.
Because they liked the first one quite a bit, and I felt like, really? That was like a 2.5 hour setup.
I felt the same way. I rewatched it in IMAX when it just did its most recent run. It is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
I was blown the fuck away by it.
Do I have to buy
Because we get
tickets
caught
for
up,
this?
we get caught up in the swell and like the expectations when movies
Yes,
are being
and
sold. to us,
expecting something
and you
to-
go in there to change your life, and you're like, it didn't change my life.
And it felt like nothing happened.
But then you go back.
it was highly recommend rewatching before going into Dune Part
Because
2.
I'm gonna have no idea.
It was a masterpiece.
I'm like, what is this spice?
4.5 star movie, possibly 5. It was an out and out
I
masterpiece.
disagree.
I'm just gonna sit home and watch Arrival again instead. That's my
That's
move.
fair.
Because this is already drawing comparisons to Dark Knight and Empire Strikes Back.
No.
Yes.
No, Empire, really?
Yeah.
More fighting words.
Nolan
over
said this is Nolan described this as his Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, but he's been like not the same person ever since watching The Curse. He's like, his mind's been altered.
It's been warped. Oh, the finale. We never talked about it.
We never did, and I was going to say we do it today, but I mean, look at the time. My child is being released from school in 20 minutes, and I'm an hour away.
Oh,
You got to go back and watch Incendies.
Incendies.
Yeah,
Do I have
watch
to see
Incendies. That's his early work, 2010.
Let me see. I might have seen Incendies.
I don't know. I don't think you forget
Let's
Incendies.
see.
Middle East,
I'm not excited about this.
The Journey,
Oh, look, I
the
received
Pilgrimage, the Twins,
Have I seen Incendies?
or his very first one,
I don't want to see this.
Polytechnic.
I feel like I've seen Incendies and it was very good. But
Get out of here with your. All right, let's get out of here. That's what
I think I've seen it.
All right, well,
what's
Avery,
your problem, Bri?
I don't want to see this.
What, Dune 2? You don't have to see it.
Why?
I do.
You out of your mind?
Heard in the show.
You got to rewatch the first one.
Oh,
It'll get you
I
hyped.
will never do that.
Did you hate it?
It's just
I'm gonna
such a
watch David
fucking
Lynch's
effort.
Dune.
I would go back, and it would be my number one movie of that year. That's how much I fucked up in my initial watching. of it.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's get out of here.
Who did this? Wait.
We do it for band.
Curtis.
In the meantime, Comedy Confessional.
Oh
is
yeah,
back
yeah.
next week.
Plug away.
Comedy Confessional. It will be March 8th. Please come see me live. It'll be fun. It'll be in Santa Monica. It'll be at 8 o'clock. They have a liquor license now, so you can get boozed up.
That's gonna change that entire makeup of that show.
Oh, yeah. Live and in concert. Please check it out. You can check out at Confess Comedy on Instagram. And I think there'll be a link in the show notes to find it as well. It'll be a fun little night. So come check it out. Comedy Confessional.
Go do it, guys. It's so good that
It's a
everyone's
fun
doing
show.
it. It's
High
such
in
a
the
good
fun
show
scale.
that everyone's doing it.
That's on the poster, actually.
Great listener art from Curtis Helms.
I don't get it.
It's after disaster.
You of all
reference.
people should get it. It's an after disaster reference.
Oh, because of my trauma that happened on
Yes.
last week's episode. That is one of the worst things I've ever seen. And that's your fault, Avery. You're the one who sent it.
It's awful.
I hope you enjoyed old new movies. Excuse me. AndersonandBryan.com is the website.
Oh, I see what he's saying. He's suggesting that I cannot handle real centipedes, but human centipedes, I'm all about it.
Yes.
That's pretty good. Curtis, well played.
If you want to see Curtis's art, check out our social medias. They're AndersonandBryan.com, of course. AndersonandBryan.com is the website where we have featured artists. This week, DJ T-Rock and Squashy Knife.
Yeah, it's my boy. My boy
Nice.
Travis. I knew I knew this track, but I didn't know it's my good friend Travis.
The Instagram is Anderson
He makes
and Bryan.
hats. He
The
makes hats.
TikTok is Anderson and Bryan. The Facebook and the Twitter are The Film Vault. And, of course, YouTube, The Film Vault Podcast. Speaking of YouTube, thanks to Eric Cat for helping us out there. Mitch Burns, good to have you around again. Be well in the future. Giovanni Mike Cole, thank you for your help with this week's episode and every episode for that matter. The Film Vault's over on Patreon. The Amazon banner resides atop AndersonBryan.com. And that's just about it.
Until next time.
Yeah.
We do it for Mango!